Hi, YouTube. It's me, Kareem Zamir, Seekers of Galanti, Second Wake, episode 72. But if you were Susan Wojcicki, it is season 2, episode 20, because the algorithm is weird, and I'm trying to decide whether or not to go back to the main number or stay on the new numbers, because we are showing up in searches for every so often. I think we're on, like, the second page if I search Dungeons and Dragons, but then we're in the first page now if I put Second Wake. But it's like us in 3 Christian churches. It's like church, Satan's game. And so, I think we're really doing our best here to combat misinformation about how cool lawful good characters are, okay? You want to be like cool mid-range characters. That's the new meta, as you will know from many of our demigods to be. Isn't that also very sacrilegious in a way? Campaign's called Second Wake. We appear under religious videos if you search us on YouTube. Our campaign is about regular people becoming gods in a world devoid of religious context. Yeah.
I think I like the idea of another perspective. The religious Second Wake thing is definitely overplayed at this point.
Totally.
Let's bring in some heresy.
Yeah, we're going to bring in some heresy, So long as it's not Horus heresy, we're good. Because otherwise...
Actually,
yeah.
I would like that too.
I know you would like that. I think you, me, and Orville would be like, yeah, for Horus heresy. And everyone else would be like, why are the aliens killing me? And I'd be like, it's just the way it is. Roll diplomacy. It doesn't work. All right, then. Yeah, cool stuff. So when we last left our heroes, which is, as Orville will say, the sounds of D&D starting, our heroes were in a murky Hollowwoods. Boink. Within the deep reaches of the Hollowwoods, the group had been spurred onward to find, and I'm going to say air quotes, deal with or solve the problem of the scimitars, as they had been alleged or otherwise alluded to kind of threatening, almost extorting the local city. That is now currently building for the beautiful Grim Village Resort and Casino, just off to the north, having been purchased by a TT Holdings company, which is always a great way for business. Get a holding company, invest in a Roth IRA. This is not legal advice for legal reasons. I have to state that. But, there are a number of different ways that you can invest in your future. And if you're under the age of 22, okay, I'm going to move on. But spurred on by a large bounty on the scimitars to deal with the problem for the citizens themselves, as well as tracking them down on a more personal note for their correlation to Corvus, an individual who is suspected, or rather perhaps confirmed, to be the murderer of a one Mr. J.J. Lightning of... Well, I believe that someone's father on here. Might be J.J. Lightning's dad. I don't know. It's a difficult puzzle. I'll have to call our number 1 detective, Celeste Marigold, on the case. Only she can crack whether or not Mr. Lightning has any relation to Miss J.J. Lightning. It could be anyone, Celeste.
Oh, they have no relation.
No relation. You've busted this case wide open, Celeste. Let no one double check that math. Especially...
That's the kind of twist that you get in these kind of mysteries.
It's true.
Hey, I mean... If we're going to just put it out there, I got horns too.
That is fair. It could be anybody. Especially do not check JJ's streams here on Twitch, where she often talks about her characters, does character bios, books, and backgrounds. It will detriment our case, Celeste, for the investigation when she eventually talks about her family tree. So... we'll just have to go over to her house and destroy her streaming setup that way. Anyway, sorry. Later, when we're not on camera and recorded to our half-dozen viewers. After exploring through the Hollowwoods themselves, in search of scimitars, the group was also informed by Morgan that an individual who was of interest to a number of fairy or fae-like individuals, who can really say who they are, was suspected, or rather already working off a price on their head. After some clever investigation and survival checks by Kobold Jones, the group came upon a rather curious issue with a certain type of Ettercap that believed that they could lord over land and they could charge rent to a Bulette, who is a very beautiful awakened creature, and was more than happy to make sure that justice was served, as Kobold Jones would say, and destroy anyone attempting to earn a passive income off of the suffrage of other races and creatures that are less than. After dispensing with this individual, feeding his corpse to his own wife, and mother of his hundreds of children, the group is now saddled within the Hollowwoods themselves. I'm going to switch over forest music that I found that was in the public domain. So hopefully this video doesn't get flagged. And if it does, eat my ass, YouTube. So that's how that goes. But yes, as you all are now traversing the Hollowwoods, you've just recently done battle with a number of frightening creatures that could have spiraled out of control had you all not been quick to act and quicker to myrtleize a certain individual. You now find yourselves a bit adrift, to tell the truth. You have a number of tracking methods at your disposal, a number of individuals you could probably court for information, but otherwise, you know that at one point, this was the planned secondary base for the Cross Scimitars, but now, you need to find their campsite, continue on in your task. So I turn to you, Seekers of Galanti, brave and true. Tell us, what comes next?
Alright, well, I want to start off and ask first, because I can't find it. How much gold did we get for a split?
That's not a me problem, that's a Morgan problem.
1475.
Okay, and then like I said last time, I'd like to give Buddy 500 gold.
You're gonna hand Bartholomew 500 gold?
Yeah, so I'm gonna cut out 500 gold and put it in its own bag.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go up to Buddy's side, like, hey.
Bartholomew will look down at you, as he ought to do, as a rather prestigious high elf. I'm like to go, oh yes, Mr. Jones, of course. How may I help you, sir?
I want to pay back with interest that gold that you gave me, and then I'll hand up to him this bag. It's heavy, I'm assuming, very heavy bag of 500
It's 50
gold.
pounds, yeah. Every 10 coins is about a pound in 5th, I believe. So yeah, you hand a 50-pound bag, immediately slinks down between his knees. He goes, oh, you filled it with rocks. Okay, I understand. No problem. I'm sure there are some very pretty stones in here, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, open it. Look at it.
There's like a moment where Bartholomew panickedly looks at the rest of the group as if this is like a hilarious prank that he's not in on. Slowly, he untwines the top of the bag. He goes, okay, well, I'll just look and get a shiny rock. That's a lot of gold.
Celeste is going to start laughing right before he opens the bag.
I half expected a rat to come out, or not, wait, and looks at Charles and goes, mouse to come out, of course.
Does the mouse have a house?
No. Should he? And like hefts this bag of gold and goes, Miss Jones, I think you have grossly overpaid, and I don't think any interest rate in the world would work this way. I'll just take, and he takes 2 gold coins out, and then tries to hand you the bag back.
No, I'm gonna keep blocking it and
Okay, no,
pushing it to him.
just take-
and then
just
I'm
take the
gonna
bag.
I'm gonna go, look, I don't understand finances at all. That's why I'm in the situation I'm in. This is for you. This is interest.
this
How
seems
I
like a-
understand it.
This very much seems like a recurring problem. Then, if you continue to invest in poor investments, then you will
Hey, how
be
about
penniless.
this? If you don't take this gold, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Okay, give me an intimidation check. Actually, we're gonna do manners over fear is what we're rolling for here, folks.
Do you remember that one time that Jones said he would never intimidate an NPC?
Yep. Do player NPCs count?
That was a long time ago, though.
It was a long time ago.
Okay, I had to check. I can use my thing on this, my battle master thing.
Oh yes, please use your fighter battle mastery ability on Bartholomew Iridan.
I'm gonna give you guidance
Well-
too. How much do you want to traumatize this
Yeah,
guy?
let's go for it.
Well, here's the thing: is I have 20 strength, but I have 12 charisma. So I'm not actually that good at intimidation. But I rolled a 19, so that's going to be a 25.
I'm not that good at intimidation, but it's a 25. So yeah, you have a moment where you kind of, I assume, do the old Texas thing of putting your hand on your hammer. You know what I mean? You're kind of like
No, battle axe is out. It's
battle axe is out. Oh,
Yeah.
you're full on drawn on him. You're quartering him.
Of course.
As you threaten his life, he kind of looks to you and goes, and you see, for a few of you who are more perceptive and insightful, you can see the cost-benefit analysis running in Bartholomew's head, and then you see, ever so slightly, those of you who are very perceptive, note one of Bartholomew's knees twitches to the left and to the right, like an old injury. He goes, okay, I see how this is. I will accept this on your behalf, and I will not cry at this generous gift that you have given me, and I would request you do not break my knees.
As long as you take the gold and you enjoy it. And then I'll go to put my axe away, but I'll like pump fake it and kind of like give one of those.
He
And then
falls
away.
over a little bit in the dirt, and a few gold coins spill on his chest. He goes, "Oh, okay, no problem.
Pick those up, don't lose them.
Okay, I will do that." And he starts slowly putting them in the bag and like cleaning them off, and slowly tying the bag up. Looks over to you and goes, "Thank you, Mr. Jones."
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. When I open my own house, I will invite you for tea, sir.
Okay. And whiskey, hopefully. Which that's how,
Wait,
traditionally dwarves drink their tea with whiskey, so.
I'm not you. Yes, dwarves. Of course, it had to be dwarves. Of course, it was. Yes, sir. Very good, sir. Thank you. And takes the small bag, and then looks over at Charles and is like, and reaches in and fishes out 2 gold coins and hands it to Charles. Goes, "I believe this is referred to as trickle-down economics, Charles." The small mouse takes it, bites both of the coins, looks around, digs a small hole, and puts both coins in the hole, and then buries it.
I'll come back for that later.
Just, all right. The pair return back and look to you all, and Bartholomew speaks and goes, what are we doing next? Because I think we could go into most southern cities, and I could buy a villa for this much."
We're gonna go risk our lives. That's what we're gonna
Oh, we're doing that still. Okay, that's awful, but I'm down for it, I guess. That's the play that we're doing.
Do.
Oh, I was just about to say, with all the money we've made, none of us have thought to buy our own place to stay or land.
Oh,
But
the plan was
you
just
know.
to stay at, like, Lady Galante's house forever?
Yeah.
Oh. But Orville snores. Like, loudly. Very loudly.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cute.
Oh, right. Okay. No, I mean, I guess it makes sense if that's, like, an attractive quality to you, Mr. Jones. You wake up and you scream about ghosts and stuff, so...
Yeah, and then I punch him.
Do you actually fight the ghosts?
I try, but they go away when I wake up, so I'm really just punching air.
Oh, yes. Difficult struggle, that is. No, I think it'd be lovely to have a home away from home, or what do they say in those old novels? Like a base of operations, a stronghold through which heroes are made, or maybe just a place to invite family and friends over for a nice evening.
Yeah, that certainly is something we can consider next time we return. It would be a bit of a change of pace. Might not be so bad.
Very true. But then, risking our lives it is. What's the plan for that one?
Well, we found a tree. And we're a bit out of path. We could I have a couple theories. We could either just try to travel south, as that would be where I think, from this point, they should be. If we're just going to keep trying to find our own way to the scimitars, but the code being spoken of firing wood, I was wondering if perhaps smoke signals or something near the well, 2 weeks. Sorry, it's been hours. My notes didn't. Oh, it's yeah, Blunderbuss. That's his name. My good friend Blunderbuss. Sorry, I almost forgot his name. Tree. We could try and signal them, but I don't know if we'd rather try and get the drop on them or just let them know we're looking for them.
I mean, we could travel south, check that out, but you know, their encampment is probably not that big, at least in the scope and the scale of this forest that we have here. So, could be walking around aimlessly for a while.
It's possible, but yet you and Morgan led us directly to the individual that she was looking for.
Well, the good thing about him is that there were sigils everywhere that had his name on them, and so that helped us find him. But I'd be kind of surprised if the scimitars had the same setup going on.
Well, even if they didn't have sigils, they'd be leaving something behind.
Maybe they are all professional hunters or something. So
We
maybe
could
not
go
leave
back to the tree and inspect it a bit closer.
DM, real quick.
Yes.
Calling back to
Ooh, a callback.
the kind of cipher / note that Celeste figured out.
Of course.
Would JJ have any sort of insight to maybe what the firing wood phrase meant by any chance?
It would be a difficult one to understand without further context. It's effectively like, it's one of those types of messages that you've intercepted that you picked off of the body of a person, that is definitely intended for people who know the context and know the cipher and kind of know the references. So you definitely get the insight that it's one of those things that more than likely is used so that outsiders specifically can't know or kind of get it over on somebody. That isn't to say you couldn't figure it out. It's just, it definitely is a riddle of sorts in that sense, intentionally vague so that it would frustrate those who might try to intercept messages among the scimitars.
And we're at the moment kind of like north of that river that starts to jut into the Ravon Range, right?
That is correct. Currently, we are just north of the river that splits through Hunter's Reach and the northern Hollowwoods.
Okay.
Doop, doop.
Yeah. It's hard to figure out what it all means, but I think maybe the smoke signals isn't the worst option. It is firewood. But I suppose if that doesn't work, we just start heading toward the river and maybe cross it. I think. Because they said something about heading south, right?
Yes, which I believe we've discovered here what the, how was it worded, compromise and issue that made them go. I'm guessing that was our friend.
That's what I think so, too.
You could also try the polite option of returning to the road and going up to one of their sentries and asking them. We could just go meet their leaders.
You know, I'm not too impartial to that. We could say, hey, we're kind of stuck in the middle here, trying to figure it out, and love to hear their side and what all's going on there, what they think is going on around here.
I just don't think they'll let us do that, armed to the teeth, as it were.
Yeah, that would also make sense.
How about we just try looking first, and then if we need to, we can give up and try something else.
I'm fine with that. Do we want to go and check to see if there were any clues at the tree?
Yes. To the tree.
To the tree, we say.
The detective said so.
Celeste puts on her bowler hat and pulls out her identifying glass and heads to the tree. The sounds of Pink Panther echoing with each footstep. Bodum. Anyway.
It's actually more of Kronk from Emperor's New Groove.
All right, then. So yeah, you head back over to the tree where your awakened Bulette friend is. You can hear at this point almost like a reassuring slump of snores echoing from under the tree, seeming that the pressure and stress of a landlord looming over their head has vanished. Your Bulette friend sleeps soundly underneath the base of the tree. But the tree is yours to explore if you'd like.
Wait a second. I can do this now. What kind of tree is it?
Oh, roll nature. I forgot that we upgraded every race, and with that, Kobold Jones finally took nature. And I'm going to play that up as becoming a demigod. He's gained something far beyond kobolds, because as we discussed in our last video when we reviewed it, player kobolds are now way more powerful than the kobolds still in the monster manual, and they now, in fact, have different abilities, whether or not you're a player or not a player. So yeah, that's just weird. Anyway, thanks.
Yeah, I lost that pack tactics, but I got huge buff. I got also able to change my stats, because when I made this character, I didn't do the like pick your stats.
Oh yeah,
because it was just dex and nothing else.
Mm.
And so I had 3 odd scores, and now all got up to the next modifier. So
He's unstoppable now. He's a killing machine.
Anyway, 22.
22. You look this over, and you note something a bit odd about this tree. You know that its long roots do stand up on end. You note that it looks almost as if amid this heavy spider-silked forest, this tree specifically, in your recent epiphany of gaining knowledge of nature and understanding the world around you and more slowly tapping into the ethos of what the world is, whether it be by divine right or your small fragments of divinity, there is a clear indication that the trees surrounding this one do not match in genus. Specifically, this is a tree that would be intended for a swampland, and its roots likely sink deep upwards of about half a mile in all directions. Knowing what you know from your Bulette friend, who spoke of long-reaching tunnels, and that this was to be an underground base of sorts, you would note that this specific tree would stand out to those who are of the ranger or druidic classes as something to truly remark on, as an indication that something is different about this tree specifically. You know it to be I think it's called a willow reed tree, but I will have to double check on that. It's fun when you prep all your notes, remembering that nobody has nature, and then somebody suddenly has nature, and now you have to go dig those all back up. So we'll do that next time. The next nature check, I swear, I'll have my Nat Geo open and ready to go.
Can I climb this tree?
You certainly can.
I want to climb this tree.
All right, go ahead and give me an athletics check. You note as you reach upon it, the moss and clinging kind of like forest to it is all kind of in layers, and as you go to grip onto the wood, you're slipping and sliding a bit as there is a slurry of various moss and fungi that has clung to this old tree.
Miss Celeste, real quick.
Dunk, dunk. Hands on the tree.
Before you get up there, I can help you a little bit if you just let me play a little doodle.
You said
real
athletics?
quick.
Athletics, unless you want to listen to JJ and her doodle.
Oh. Shh. Sure.
JJ's gonna use her DOS to cast. I believe she can cast levitate off of it.
Yeah, I believe so too. Once per
So
day.
she will cast levitate on Celeste so that Celeste can just
Can
kind
you
of.
only do that once per day?
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Oh, because I was gonna say I rolled.
I have
20,
like 10
so-
spells that I can cast once per day.
I love the issue of I got a good roll versus I have a really expensive magic item I've not gotten to use a
Yeah,
lot.
no, absolutely.
is-
Use your magical item. Screw this roll. Let's go.
This is the after 1 year of playing D&D first world problem. Like, I've got a really cool thing. I also have done cool, and everyone's like, I don't want to encroach on your coolness, my dude. It's great. It's delightful. So yes, Celeste, 20 on the die, using JJ's levitation. You more or less wheelbarrow yourself up this tree, each hand taking clumps of wood and root and pulling yourself further up as your ass kind of floats like Winnie the Pooh with a balloon attached to it. And you slowly guide yourself up this old Mirkwood-like tree. Go ahead and give me an investigation check as you ascend the tree. You do have advantage because you are able to float around and view it from all angles instead of just where the paths would be.
That's a 20 total. Dirty 20.
30, 20 total. You ascend this long kind of tree. You look it over. You note with a 20 as you kind of float around, and again, very Winnie the Pooh stealing bees' honey style, drifting around. Piglet, aka Kobold Jones, at the root of the tree looking up, and Jonesy making the Piglet sounds of the little whine that Piglet does. You view, attached to one of the branches, a small clutch wrapped in camouflaged kind of like leather. What it actually seems to be is like a meshwork, almost like what you'd put on a shoot house to hide it and camouflage it from the animals. On one of the branches, there was this heavy looking wrapping, and as you float over and drag yourself, pulling branch over branch, you look and you can see this long kind of cord that pokes out from the branch itself and seems to open up this bundle that has been wrapped around the tree limb.
I grabbed that.
Yes, you can. You pull on the small ripcord. As you do so, you hear kind of a bit of rope slide across each other, almost like if you've ever heard a parachute open, that kind of ripcord, like as rope wraps on rope, and you hear this thing flip and roll down, and there is in front of you what looks like a small kind of bandolier. In it are a number of ornate-looking arrows, each one very similar to one another, that seem to have inscription written upon them, and there is a smell that emanates off of them from their standing. At the top, a small white rolled sheet of parchment exists at the top of the collection.
I will grab the parchment.
Sure. You open up the parchment and look it over. It reads very simply, base compromised, deal has gone south. Below are objects to find, what you need seek, brothers and sisters in crossed arms.
I've done it again. I'm truly just the best. Okay, don't let him see you sweat. And I'm gonna slowly try lowering myself to the ground just by thinking it.
All right. I think you think it, but I don't think levitate works that way.
I don't know how levitate works because I have never levitated.
Yeah, you think heavy thoughts. You try to Charlie in the Chocolate Factory this. But as you kind of let go and attempt to try to sink, your butt goes down ever so slightly and then rises up. I need you to make me a either sleight of hand or straight up dexterity check to re-grab those branches so you don't float above the tree and into the open air where you will probably plummet to your death, Charlie in the Chocolate Factory style. There's no fan up there, but there's a sun eventually, sooner or later.
You said sleight of hand or what?
Sleight of hand or just dexterity saving throw, your choice.
Oh, dex saving. It's a 15.
15. You reach down, realizing at just the very last possible minute that you were going to float off like a wayward balloon, and you hold onto the branches and look down at the party. JJ still strumming her DOS, playing this levitation harmony for concentration.
JJ, darling, you might want to stop. I think she's...
Oh,
Ow!
I should pull her down. I should pull her down. All right, JJ's gonna do the 20 feet around, pulling her
Lowering
down.
slowly.
Yeah, lowering Celeste.
It's just Stairway to Heaven to cast it, but then it's playing the record backwards to lower it. So it's that hidden
Or it's
message.
like a dive bomb.
Yeah. You had to like shred the strings. You had to, like, just lay the flat of your finger on the strings and pull it. Cobble Jones knows what's up. He's an artist. But yes, you begin to lower Celeste down. Celeste, are you taking any of the arrows that are in this bundle? Or are you taking the whole bundle off the branch?
I'm gonna take the whole bundle off the branch.
All right, you slide it off for a little bit and then finally just pull, and this entire kind of bandolier situation. It almost looks like it's like a trifold of sorts that has been like this kind of like cloth and leather bag, and it seems to specifically hold these arrows in this small hidden message. You rip it free from the tree, and slowly but surely you float back down to the party, arrows in hand and bandolier in your grip. Your feet finally touch the ground effortlessly as JJ plays you down.
I think next time I should ask how I get down before I just do things.
Just go.
Yeah, I just... No.
It does look like you found something, though. Another
Oh, yeah.
detective win.
Yeah, no, I did. So, you know, I don't... Well, I don't want to hog all of the answers here if somebody else wants to look it over too, Vel. Mm-hmm. Morgan?
Do you need help with something?
Oh, no. Do I? No. I'm smart.
I just kind of assumed you were going to tell us what that was that you had. You keep figuring things out.
Yeah. So... I think we need one of these arrows, and each of these arrows leads us to the way. Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of like how they fired that green arrow to signal an all clear.
Yeah.
So what do each of them do?
I don't know. Hold on.
Oh.
Hold on. I'm gonna walk over to inspect each arrow. Is there a little note on each of them by chance that says use this in case of a fire or anything?
There is not, but there are a number of runic sigils that are engraved at the very base of each arrow. Are you trained in Arcana?
No.
Okay.
Vel is.
Are you trained in nature?
You know I'm not.
I
This
know,
is a
but
cruel joke.
It's fun to ask as a DM.
I'm gonna just slowly nudge Jones. Just slowly, like nonchalantly, like, hey, look what I found. Huh?
Yeah, I'll give him the once over.
You look over it. A number of these runes that have been carved in here are hunter's marks. Not like the spell, but more the actual functionality of them. Many of them are very normal for like people who are rangers or of the nature's kind of walking. In your experience, you don't know their full meaning, but trained in nature, especially with a military background such as Cobalt Jones, you have seen things like this. Sometimes they are for providing much of the way that Vel had discerned, providing an all clear, providing danger ahead, or things of that nature. You do know that some of them, especially some of the more powerful ones that have been crafted, can serve other purposes for a ranger's quiver to take on different aspects, kind of a la Hawkeye a little bit. Like there are certain arrows that can just do better things than other ones. As the DM looks at this book that he resourced in case anyone rolled Ranger for this campaign.
Hey, Celeste, those are just some, like, magic bullshit arrows. I do want to say, though, one thing that we used to do when we were down on our luck is we would take things like this for signaling arrows, and we just put them in our bows, and then just shoot that, yeet it right at someone, and when it explodes, it disorients and blinds them all. It's pretty good. And, at the same time, it also calls for help, so double win.
So, Val, I looked these over, and yeah, I think they're signaling arrows. I think all of them do a different thing. Like these signal not clear, and these signal something else. Yep.
Great job.
Thanks. Yeah. Yep.
Bartholomew starts clapping. Amazing. Wonderful.
Thanks,
I'll
buddy.
join in.
Yes. Oh, very good. Yes. Miss Celeste, I speak for all of us, I think, very, very easily, that your powers of deduction are second to none. In fact, I think Miss Lightning would probably delight in writing about your detective expertises. I would read them.
Indeed,
That
you have steered
makes
us
one.
in the right direction a few times now.
I mean, really, you just have to know who to watch to learn from, and then you learn it, and then you know it, right, Val?
I suppose so. That's one form of education.
Kobold see, kobold do.
But
Is that how that works? And where you're from?
he's not a kobold, Mr. Jones.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
Aren't you a dwarf?
I mean, aren't we all kobolds?
No,
Inside
You're a
everyone
dwarf.
Aren't you a
Not
dwarf
quite.
inside?
I think you're
Inside
not even a
everyone.
kobold inside.
is a kobold.
What?
No, thank you.
No, that sounds
Like-
really gross.
Like 3 kobolds? Because most
Two
people are taller
kobolds.
than kobolds.
I've once seen
One
3 kobolds in a
screaming.
trench coat before.
Yeah, there's 2 kobolds inside everyone. One's screaming, and the other one is screaming louder.
How do I evict these kobolds?
You can't.
That's
That
awful.
looks like screaming in
plague.
my
It's great.
Is this like an ancient draconic curse or something?
Let me just clarify
Sure.
that we're not calling my friend a kobold because I don't want her to get angry.
Yeah,
Especially
everyone,
last time
almost
you told
everyone
me.
here
Whoa.
does have at least one other thing living in them too.
Mhm.
I don't have anything living in me.
Apparently,
Are you
have
sure?
2 kobolds.
No.
Yeah,
Yes,
listen,
I'm
hang
sure.
on. Hang on.
Celeste is
Just-
the holdout.
Mhm.
Everyone be quiet.
I used to.
Everyone be quiet.
That's right, you're free.
Listen inward. You hear that horrible, blood-curdling screaming?
Yes, I hear you.
I
I
don't.
just hear my father yelling at me.
That Wilhelm
Yeah, it
scream.
sounds like my ancestors.
Uh-oh. My kobold just fell off a cliff. Oh
What?
boy.
There are cliffs inside of you, that is true.
I know.
We
and
did see
kobolds.
that.
Am I the only insane one here right now?
I'm
Where's
just gonna
Charles?
go along with it. As you look around, Charles has taken their pizza cutter off their back and is carving their initials and a small lightning sigil into the base of the tree. And you look and there's like this like weird like it is like almost a pitchfork, so it's like a 2-pronged pitchfork, but where each of the actual points are, they're lightning bolts. And it seems to be this little sigil he's working on.
I mean, remember, this tree is my tree now.
Hey, Charles.
What?
He
I
turns
don't-
around
I'm
and
not-
hides their work.
I'm not trying to rush you.
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to know roughly how much longer you think you'll need before your masterpiece is done here.
What masterpiece? I didn't.
Hey, it's your tree, man. You want the tree? Keep the tree. I just wanted to know how much longer you think it'll take.
Alright. Give me like,
10 more minutes.
no, like
20.
2 minutes. This
Okay,
many.
yeah. I could distract the rest for 2 minutes.
Okay, yeah. Just keep
Yeah.
on about whatever. You're great, I guess. Okay, great.
Charles turns back around and you see like a small like sharpened piece of stone. They start doing detailing to try and make the little like bident sort of thing look even better.
He told you about the kobolds, didn't he?
So, should we use one of these arrows? Or.
If we're ready to try and have a meeting, I would
Yeah.
assume that would call for help, perhaps?
Yeah. Did you say that all the arrows had different markings on them? Or are they all the same markings?
There are a few that are different as you look, as Cobble Jones and Celeste kind of work through them. There are 3 that are different sigils, but the rest, totaling 10 total, are all identical. 7 of them are completely the same, and they have this strange, almost like azure coloring to the rune that's been engraved in the base.
Hey, Celeste.
Yeah?
You're doing great. Do you want me to identify them?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to burden you, but if you think you have
no,
time.
Yes?
Okay.
I'd love to help.
Helping is a strong word, Vel.
Oh.
Look, you're the smart one. I'm just trying to be helpful here, okay? I just want to be as smart as you, and so I decided.
Celeste, stop.
Okay.
Whatever you are trying to say right now is ridiculous because you've legitimately solved 2 rather confounding things in a matter of moments each time they've been presented to you.
Yeah.
So don't say that you're pretending when you are succeeding.
Yeah, but I learned how to be smart by watching you.
Thank you. I'm honestly flattered. That's really kind of you to say, but we're a team, so how about we stop worrying about who's what and we just get a look at what these do, hey?
Is that your way of saying that I'm smart now?
I said you were smart last time too.
Well, I'm not keeping tabs or anything. Ooh.
Celeste.
Oh, here they are. Sorry. Sorry.
As a person who now realizes that you look up to me and think that I am an intelligent leader, I'm very impressed with you and so proud.
Thank you.
Would you like me to teach you how to identify objects with arcane, You want to learn magic? I can teach you to be a wizard.
Ooh. Yikes.
Come on, there's what, 4 of them that need? This will only take about 40 minutes. You sit there and watch. You'll figure it out. It's great.
Right. Ooh. Maybe just start with this one. And I'll pass over one that one of the ones that isn't the same of the other 7.
Okay. Yeah, you look them over. There's one that's red, yellow, and green.
I'll pass over the yellow one.
The yellow one. All right.
Right. I'll get down to identifying these then.
All right. So if the group would like, you guys can take a short rest, as it will take about 40 minutes to identify. Let's see here. As we start the identity, you're doing it via ritual, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So via ritual, you again contact into the persona of your arcana at this point. A long shadow trails from your body, and this luminous, almost necrotic looking figure draped in large black robes with a face hidden behind a hood leans in, and these old bony white fingers clutch at your shoulders to whisper secrets into you. As you hold the first yellow arrow, you hear this kind of, well, now isn't this curious? An arrow of warning. Twofold is its purpose. An uncommon sort of enchanted item. Single use. How rudimentary. By firing it into the sky, it can be made into a cloud to to inform those in a visible range of danger to come forward. When used offensively, that same cloud can be a detriment to those who harrow one another. It releases quite a disgusting, stinking cloud.
Celeste?
Huh?
This one is an arrow of warning. And if we fire it into the sky, it warns of danger. And if you fire it at someone, or more likely a group of someone's, well, there's a rather foul spell called Stinking Cloud, and it'll give you a poof of that in an area. Lots of
Spell.
coughing from that one.
Smell and spell. Got it.
Yeah, smelly spell.
So the yellow one warns of danger. The green one says all clear.
I would presume so. The same arrow.
So.
Not sure what it would do if it hit someone, though.
Oh. What does the fourth arrow look like? We have red, yellow, green.
Blue.
Blue.
That's the one that you have 7 of.
Maybe we should do the blue one next. Or the red one.
I mean, I'll gladly inspect every single one of them. I enjoy he sounds so friendly. Little chuckle and everything.
Can we hear him?
You can't ever hear this figure, but you do
Okay.
see this like heavy looking looming shadow during the ritual. Every time you see this like very much like creepy, almost like ghostly figure that has these like bone white, like hands need some aloe lotion types that put its hands on Vel's shoulders, and every so often you can see like these kind of curled back lips that are all crusted over and receded into the gum line, where you can see these kind of like bony looking teeth and jaws. Like if you ever see somebody who smiles and like you can see like the first like 4 inches of their gum line, that's kind of this person's just speaking voice. When they're talking, it rolls back their lips a bit. So what's next?
Yeah. Do you want to do blue or red next? I will pass over. Go ahead.
Sure.
Blue.
I'll take the blue one. Get to
Blue.
work.
All right. You cast again. You do the ritual. This large looming shadow kind of looks over the item and puts its hands on your shoulder and leans in low into your elven ear. And you're, oh, now this one is rather interesting. A bit rarer than the last one, of course. Of course. This one is a tracing shot. Its purpose is twofold. When unattuned to a singular object or purpose, it can be fired upon and then recalled by the firer to hunt down a target. This one seems previously attuned to an object or person. When fired, it will try to find its way and guide an individual towards its attuned. A good way to keep in touch, perhaps.
Well, that is fascinating. It's a tracing arrow, as it were. Well, it's already attuned to someone, and if we fire it, it will lead us.
Do you think it will lead us to where we need to go?
The identify doesn't tell me who it's connected to?
No, it can only identify the item. It can't identify any extra information that it wouldn't be able to tell.
I wasn't sure if that would have been part of the spell at that point.
No, it'd be cool if I did like Spelljammer, where everyone had a unique arcane signature, but that's just too much, man.
Yeah. Right now, I don't have a way to figure out who it could lead us to, but being that there are 7 of them, and this is the way to find the scimitars, seems pretty likely. Sorry, was that it has to be attuned to fire someone then? Or to find someone?
Nope. You can fire it. It's just that they can be set to immediately go to a specific thing or person.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a weirder one. Mechanically, it's if it's already unselected a target, the arrow hits them, it effectively puts an unseen marking on them like Hunter's Mark to where you can find them. Once it's already been marked, typically with blood or some other thing that will address who it is now like tracking, once the enchantment has gotten hold of a person, place, or thing, whoever fires the arrow will be guided towards whatever it is attuned to. Effectively like a homebound kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like someone could bleed on one of these arrows and it might switch over. There'd be a way to switch it.
Okay. So yeah, these would be our way to find them, I believe.
Okay. Well, should Morgan fire one of these bad boys?
Well, if everyone's ready to head off, it's an arrow. I'm not exactly sure how fast it will go.
Just don't shoot it hard. Also, don't we have like 3 more arrows to identify?
2 more, yeah. A green one and a red one.
Gladly take a look at them.
Look, here you go.
Okay.
All right.
Red one.
The red one? All right. Again, the ritual. Another 10 minutes pass. You guys are taking a short rest. This long, kind of evil-looking shadow looms back over Velithil and clutches onto her shoulders, and you hear, "Oh, someone likes things a bit more spicy. An arrow of danger's call. When fired into the air, it makes a red mist that softly floats down. When fired at a target, on a hit, the same cloud will be released and coated in a filament that will call out their location to others and make them quite flammable."
That is indeed the one to warn for danger, and if you coat someone in its shot, a little sparkly red, which was, I assume, the sparkly green, they will be quite flammable. So if we ever want to set anyone on fire...
Dibs.
No, this isn't a dibs situation. What?
I'm
Double
fine
Jones
with the
doesn't own a
dibs
bow,
situation.
calls dibs on an arrow.
You could throw it at somebody. I'd be interested to see that.
I imagine he's
Stab
going to
'em.
hit someone in melee with it.
Yeah, it's like a dagger.
Vel will tell you it does make a cloud around the hit.
No, yeah,
Just
I know. I've
letting
done
you
it.
know.
Better to throw it like an incense stick.
Yeah. Any pesky fairies
way.
in the area, murder them.
I gotta feel the pain with him.
Oh, okay.
We're going to hell together.
Identifying the final arrow, then.
I'll identify the green arrow.
All right, the Green Arrow. He is a
His name
comic
is
book
Ollie.
character. Yeah, he's from DC Comics. I don't have the right to say any of this, so let's cut this out in the edit. The green arrow comes back. Your shadowy figure of Identify kind of goes, "Oh, we were on such a good track. Another boring, uncommon runic symbol. Visualizing, welcoming. An arrow of welcoming. One to be fired most often to provide an all clear, but in a time of crisis can be fired to create a small cloud of restoration to those in its area of effect." I also
Thank
do want to
you.
keep up with this has been the Identify spell. I love that shit. God bless you, Brennan Lee Mulligan. You're too good for us. Mulligan, in Brennan's name. Amen. Amen.
Yeah, so this is the all clear one, but if it's fired at a group, its cloud is restoring. A little bit of extra healing. All of my potions got broken when I got yeeted through the forest. So this is a good one for us to keep in case of emergency. Or if we need to fool the scimitars into letting us pass.
What is do we know the range of the clouds for these spells?
At least for Stinking Cloud, you definitely know the range. You would assume that each other one is fairly similar. So for context, for those of you who don't have access to Stinking Cloud, it is a 20-foot radius sphere. And you would assume that each of these arrows kind of follow suit for range and size and scope. So, yes, if you were going to use the red arrow as a dagger, you, the target, and everything else within 20-foot radius, we coated in a sparkling powder that could light them on fire. Make them very flammable, rather.
That's me. That's me. I don't want to be flammable, Jones. That's me.
Hi, it's
All
me,
right,
your
so-
flanking partner. I'd like to talk to you about your Bard's extended warranty.
Well, Celeste, I did hand all the arrows back to you, and I know he called dibs, but you could just, hold it above his head and he wouldn't be able to get to it.
I'll hold my axe and be like, I've chopped down trees bigger than you.
Bartholomew will step in and go, honestly, Miss Jones, if you just ask me, I'm tallish. She's much taller than me, but I could still...
Don't kick your ass. I don't want you to get hurt.
Oh, thank you. You do
Did
care.
you just threaten him earlier?
Yeah, it's cool if I do it, but no one
Are you
else.
threatening Celeste now?
Why are you guys
That's,
all having this conversation like I'm not right here? Hi.
Oh, hi, Celeste.
Still here.
When did you get here?
Well, you're not the one who's being kind of unnecessarily aggressive right now. Like, Jones is a little on edge.
Little on edge.
You got poop?
Ooh, is it poop? Big poop? Got
Was
little
it the
corn dog in
bajillion
there?
spiders?
A lot of spiders.
No, I didn't eat any of those.
Oh.
Those are called for. I didn't want to invoke any wrath. But yeah, maybe I gotta poop.
You need to go take a 10 or something, then we could do that if you need to poop.
It makes sense why you're so crabby.
You have crabs too, oh my goodness.
Oh my.
A lot.
Oh,
Not anymore. I don't have any hair anymore after that the curse got taken off.
You're welcome.
Mm.
Yeah.
To not having
Thank you.
crabs anymore? What are we welcoming to?
Well, they were like my buds, but
His brain was exposed.
Okay, so are we firing the blue arrow or...
yeah, let's do that.
If we're all ready, if Jones needs to take a little bit to go behind a tree, I don't
Nah,
think
I'm
we'll
good,
be
I can hold it.
stopping.
It's
Right.
better used in combat anyway.
That's disgusting.
Do not fling your poop.
oh
Okay,
my
what if you
lord.
accidentally hit me? Or
Yeah,
worse,
what if you-
Orville.
Look, when you're down in the trenches, and you
Why
gotta
are
go.
you in trenches?
So glad I wasn't in the military.
I've lived a long life for a kobold. And Anyway, I was thinking we have this tactic. We can call it Flying Jonesy Explosion, where it pretty much goes exactly like you would expect with that name. But you can cast Fly on me, and then I'll go flying into the group of people with this arrow, and then explode them all.
They'll be flammable. You won't actually make them explode. It'd be more like if we fired
Yeah,
that
you
on
got,
them, and
you
then
got
I hit
fireball.
them all with a fireball.
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of the plan. I was getting to it.
But you don't want to be in there.
Yeah, we could just have Morgan fire the arrow.
That's way less cool.
I mean, like, if you want your moment of glory
Glory.
to be considered.
I know we don't always get along, Jonesy, but I don't want to kill you with a fireball.
How do you?
Wait a
I
second.
mean,
Who gets all your stuff if you go?
Oh my
Ooh,
god.
that's a good question.
Oh my us.
well, I mean, you forced me to fill out a will back a few years ago, so you, legally.
Got that fireball.
Good
Just
news
saying.
is my equity has gone up by 975% or something like that. So
That's a rather astute number, Mr. Jones. What's that based off of?
I have 975 gold and I had 0.
Oh, okay. No, that makes sense. Yep, math checks out. Sorry about that. I had to check you.
Easy maths.
Easy, quick maths, as they say. I believe
The
Orville
only
said
kind
that.
of math I know.
As Orville has mentioned, the group looks over, and Orville is wrist deep in forest mud, and is digging worms and maggots out of the ground and eating them like spaghetti.
Nice.
Don't eat too much of that mud.
Guys, some place to
It'll upset your tummy.
If you
JJ,
throw up on them, that'll also.
Yes, ma'am.
how are you arcanely? So we do have that stone. If we could give a little bit of health for a little bit of power.
I'm doing pretty decent. How are you doing? Do you need some juice in the tank, as one would say?
I'm all right. I could be
Says
better,
that?
That's kind of gross.
Yeah, who says that exactly?
It's getting a
Juice
little weird.
in
Charles
the
hops down
tank.
off
Juice
the
in
tree.
the tank? Like in the tankard? Y'all are strange.
I honestly, you all say things very often that I don't understand what they mean, and I just go along with it.
Oh, okay, Charles, you're done. Okay, that was the longest 2 minutes of my life, buddy. But okay.
I don't know how time works. I regret to inform you, Miss Armor. I am a rat.
Do you have a house?
No, not yet, but I hear we're getting one.
And Charles will
Well,
climb
once
up
we get a
on-
house, you will become a mouse.
He'll climb up
I
on
don't think that's how that
Bartholomew's shoulder.
'Cause I will still be a rat. Proud rat. Hero rat.
Oh, you
Lord
want to be a
rat.
rat?
You are
Oh, well then, all hail you and the rats.
Oh, I like that. More of this.
Okay.
You will hail me more often, thank you.
All right, let's
Mistakes.
shoot this arrow.
Right now? Are we all
Yeah.
ready?
I don't want to waste this poop.
It's a battle poop. What we
Oh
refer
yeah,
to
you know, I
affectionately.
gotta oil up my bow. It's gonna take a while.
I
You
also
might as well go
don't know-
now before we leave.
Bows on
I don't know
cooldown.
if we're battling either.
I can hold it for days. I'm good.
We just need to be prepared in case we do end up in a
We
battle,
do?
is all I'm saying. I wasn't going to go there.
Do. Right then. Let's actually call that a break. So people can do if they'd like to. You know, that do that you do. It's 8:30 Eastern Standard Time on our end. Let's call it 10 minutes. We'll come back at 8:40 after the break with more Second Wake. It rhymes, so you know it makes sense. We'll see you guys after the break. Peace. Wow, look at me. We're gonna click that, we're gonna click this, we're gonna do that. Boom. Hey, so it's me. It's Graham Zamir. Thank you for staying with us after the break. each and every one of you. I do truly thank you. You level 20 characters. It's always nice to come back and there's still people who care about the episode and the show. Or if not, no big deal. And if you're on YouTube right now, we're watching the rebroadcast that will probably get posted on Tuesday. But man, tomorrow is gonna suck because we did not go to work today. That's gonna be a weird one tomorrow. Anyway, sometime this week we'll get the episode posted on YouTube. Typically it's on Tuesdays, but we'll see where we go. But anyway, you level 20 characters, we do thank you. When we left for the break, the Seekers had uncovered a number of arrows seeming to have correlating, relating, to the scimitars themselves, a way of contacting, informing, and communicating with one another throughout the densely packed mileages of the forest. Seekers Galanti, as you have identified the arrows, you have them in your possession. Kobold Jones took a massive deuce, probably. Or he's holding it. Battle deuce.
Gotta hold it.
Gotta hold it. Gotta hold the battle deuce. The rumbler, as we like to say. The cavalry will arrive. But yes.
Nobody wants to fight a man with shit in his pants.
Nobody
How did we
wants to
get
fight
here?
a man with shit in his... Do you wear pants?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Most of your art is like a tabard in front of it, but I assume no pants.
Well, I mean,
Like
it's
armor.
dwarven plate. I don't know.
Yeah?
If that counts as pants.
I don't know. Why not? Sure. Chainmail pants or something. Shreds it. Comes out looking like a cheese grater. Cool.
It's already liquid.
Welcome to Second Wake, y'all. So on that cheerful, determinate note of how kobolds do the do, what would you all like to do next? Are you going to be utilizing the arrows? Do you want to just say F the whole thing and move on to your next thing? What's the play here, folks? Let me know. Let me know. How you feeling? What's going on?
Well, what's the next thing? Maybe we should talk about that.
Walk away
What?
from all the money. Just say fuck it. I don't care about any of this.
In what sense? The next thing, what?
I don't want to walk away from all the money, so
Oh, we're gonna walk away from the money if the scimitars aren't behind everything.
Yeah.
And then Morgan's gonna be mad at me. So,
Scooch.
The scooch.
Just a
is
scooch.
everyone ready? JJ, I don't want to put pressure on you, but you kind of know the most about the feather we're looking for.
JJ's gonna keep refining said sketch while they were on that short rest as
Yeah,
well.
You've gotten through like the lines that segment out the head, the horns, the neck. Now you're starting to put in like final lines, and you're trying to put in like some heavy like lines, a little bit of shading on the cheeks, these gaunt kind of strong jawline. Yeah, I mean it's coming along. As far as a police sketch goes, it's coming along.
Yeah, I think I've got a good reference for everyone. And
I think
Good
I also
enough.
know what he looks like. So I don't know if I told everyone, but he was in the office with. Is it
TT?
PT?
TT knew
When?
about him, yeah, or it seemed to. So yeah, Morgan does have a visual in her head of a
Oh.
purple person's face.
do they kind of look like this sketch? A little bit?
Mm-hmm. When we asked him about him, it flashed in his head that he was in his office.
Sick.
That certainly does further some suspicion. So yeah, I really don't want to go in arrows blazing against the scimitars. I kind of want to see their side of all of this. Honestly, I'm half expecting a vast amount of the old citizens to be here. Although you did send, and they were just elsewhere.
It seems like they pretty much gave up, but I mean it would be we've tangoed with the cross scimitars before, but
But
I
they
don't
both
know.
worded their response the exact same way.
Yeah, it
To come
seemed
visit.
very strange.
And that just doesn't even seem like the warden from what we met of her.
She
One,
no.
that she would give up, and two, that she would just be like, yeah, come visit.
Yeah, to be honest, she was like very soft spoken. It was very strange.
Just
So-
very imposing. So,
Yeah, I get you. I feel also very strange and sticky about this.
What?
Another one.
I just don't.
no, I get that one.
Don't worry about it. It feels nothing about the situation feels right. You know, feeling sticky just don't feel right. Like when your hands
Nope.
are sticky
Nope.
with like
Nope.
sugar or honey,
I mean,
and you
That's
can't
my-
wash it
Says
off.
you would know
Life.
about that. You killed that rabbit. The chocolate one? And then you were
Yeah.
sticky.
That wasn't a bad feeling.
Oh.
Okay.
that's the bloodlust. I feel
Anyways,
sticky every day.
Let's stay on the defensive, but if we end up in a situation, see if we cannot horribly brutalize
Yeah.
everyone. Maybe
I'm
keep
gonna
Trying to be
people
civil.
slowly start passing Morgan the blue
Trying to
arrow.
be civil.
Just shoot this quickly.
I'm sure we're all thinking it, but I just want to clarify that we probably don't think that the scimitars are in on what JJ's here for.
I really don't know. I don't.
I think
they
everybody's in
are.
on it. It's a giant conspiracy. They're all out to kill us, and we have to get up before they get us.
Especially
Um.
with our primary suspect having been in a meeting with TT. Yeah, I'm kind of not expecting the actual scimitars to be in on this, but we don't have all the pieces.
Oh, I totally think they're in on it. Now I just realized we're not being watched right here. Well, that we know about. I really think TT Holdings is in on it. Maybe not exactly TT, but his nephew, totally in on it. Scimitars, totally in on it. All of them. The whole lot. The whole bangin' shookaboodle are in on it. I just don't understand what they all get from it, though. That's the only thing that I can't seem to figure out.
Actually, that was
Money?
a
What we're trying to
good
do.
point about being watched.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to look around for Dave. I don't know what Dave looks like, but I'm looking around for Dave.
You're looking around for Dave.
Dave in the field.
Dave in the field. Go ahead and give me a perception check. You
Can I
can roll.
guidance myself?
Sure, you can guidance yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, if you have access to guidance, why not?
I do. Ooh. That's pretty good. Plus 4, so that is 23.
23. You look around. The wind blows through the forest low. Sounds of rustling leaves. Looks like forest. Doesn't seem as if there's anyone watching. But with a 23, you do get a little, as my absolute favorite murder mystery makeup podcast person might say, a little suspicious. A little suspicious. There's a little suspicious going on. Seems suspicious.
It's a little suspicious, that's all I'm saying.
Which part? They're all in on it?
Oh, no, you ever feel like someone's watching you?
Yeah, all the time. And then I look over, and 9 times out of 10, it's Jones staring at me. And I'm like, what are you looking at? He's like, you got any food?
I was just...
I often don't know what to do about it myself.
Montserrat has kind of a constant surveillance on us from the way that, morning announcement sounded. They went
Yeah?
to Dave in the field, who talked about us fighting the, werewolf thing.
I mean, I have the stone in my pocket. He's probably just watching us with the stone.
He could be scrying on us, that is correct, but that is... doesn't need a sending stone to do that, but also, if he was doing that, he wouldn't need a correspondent.
What
Why
if
does
he's
it
doing
matter?
a bit when he's the correspondent?
Wait, what?
That would be a very, like...
Like very. To be honest,
quite the
Montserrat
entertainer.
they're quite an entertaining and talented individual. It's just we don't have the same goals at the moment, so
And I just
I don't know. I think we need to revisit their goals and see if we maybe could realign our goals.
but I know how we can find it if being watched through scrying. Orville, could you take a look around the area with your true sight?
Orville will stand up from the grub hub, as we'll call it, wipe his mouth off of all of the bile and death, and we'll give it pull off his the small cloth he keeps over his glowing eyes, and look around the area with his true sight lich eyes. And
As Orville would say, he's going to give it a once-over.
I'm gonna give it a once-over. And he looks around, seems fine, then stops, goes, "That's weird. Kind of particular. Vale,
Yes.
what are they're like little balloons that are kind of all up over our heads? What does that mean?
Orbs, kind of like eyes,
like a
monitoring us?
big circle, and yeah, there's kind of eyeballs poking outside of them. Is that normal? Sometimes I see like ghosts and stuff just haunting us, but
There's multiple?
yeah, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 of them. Nope, 7. There's one right there.
Is one above me?
Yeah, you get one right there.
What color is it?
I can't really do the color thing.
Yeah, we're being watched all times, each of
Yeah.
us individually being...
There's also a fella right there too.
Fella,
Tyler?
where?
Orville points out at the tree line about maybe 40, 50 feet out from where you guys are currently standing. And it just looks like there's just leaves and a tree. Because yeah, there's like a fella just standing right there.
Is his name Dave? Ask him if his name is Dave.
Hey fella! And like waves over. He goes, "Is your name Dave?" There's like a pause. He's like, "Oh, I think he's freaking out that I can see him. Hold on a second. Hey Dave, it's all cool, brother. It's all cool. Let's calm down, buddy." No, he's wigging out, y'all. I think he's cursing in some language I don't fully understand. I'm trying to read his lips, but I don't know that one. Hey man, it's okay. You can just come on over here. No one's gonna kill you except maybe Jonesy, but Jonesy, don't kill him.
You can't see him. It's fine.
I do
Oh, yeah.
hate ghosts.
You see Orville like take a few steps forward. He's like, "Oh no, he's booking it. Should I chase him, Miss Bill?"
No.
All
We'll
right.
deal with him later.
He's looks like he ran off in the bushes. You watch like for a moment. Orville's just talking to open air, but the moment he says the guy starts running, you see all the leaves kind of go poof, and like something like runs by and like moves all the leaves.
Man, we should have shot him with one of them arrows.
Oh, that'd been a good idea.
No, ghosts are impervious to arrows.
They're magical. It would hurt a ghost.
I mean, I've shot a ghost with a gun and it didn't do anything, so...
You did what with a what?
You've had a gun?
Who gave you a gun?
Who gave you a gun? I've only seen
I know
one of
I
them.
have a gun on me.
A fool.
Fool. Only a fool gives a kobold a gun.
Especially Cobalt Jones.
So are we just sorry, Bafami.
Yeah.
We're just gonna stand around, or are we leaving? Can we go back
No,
to town?
we're going to
Fire the arrow.
Fire the arrow.
follow the arrow. Yes.
Go figure this mystery out, kids.
All right.
But we need to deal with Dave and these
Montserrat?
scryings. No, they can't be. I'm not sure. Let's follow the arrow. I have to think.
I could get rid of 5 of them technically, but then I'd be pretty.
No, don't waste your energy.
You want? Yeah, plus they'd probably just send him back again, couldn't they?
Mhm.
We'd probably have to make some sort of meeting and arrangement with them about that. Anyways, we ready to do the arrow thing and go?
Yeah, it's just normally spells like that. I don't know. Sometimes you feel them.
Feel what?
Someone watching you. But yeah, let's
Sorry, Bill. I'm just hungry.
Do you want some? Well, I
No,
have
I don't want
snacks for
anything.
one particular member of
I
our
don't-
group, but I don't want
I
to
don't
take
want
them out in
anything
case
that
someone
you-
needs them.
Oh yeah, I actually wouldn't dig that, but I don't want anything that you usually eat. Anyway, fire the arrow.
I eat all the things that you eat except for corn dogs.
How hard do you guys want me to fire this?
Not hard.
We just
Not
yaw eating it? Okay.
Please don't.
I'm not very fast.
Alright.
Firing the arrow.
Yeah.
All right.
Get us
You-
out of here.
You pull the bow. You put the blue arrow onto it. You pull it back slowly, and then release it. You watch as this arrow doesn't even leave truly the string. It kind of pushes forward just enough, and there's like this small kind of shimmer to it. It seems to vibrate in the air and slowly move forward, as if completely ignoring what an arrow ought to do. In a kind of a split second, you see a small flash of blue, and the arrow disappears. To everyone else, it looks as if the arrow has just vanished. Morgan, as you kind of look around, you can see this very faint blue luminous trail of kind of like almost like a pixie light in a way, that seems to kind of bend and angle southward from your current position.
Is it like rapidly moving, or are we able to follow it?
No, it kind of what's like a good way to equate this? It kind of has the same visual of like many of. I mean, if we consider it like a video gamey type thing, it's like you tracked a quest and there's like that blue
Like
line
waits
that
for
leads
you?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
It's kind of GPS,
Okay.
fantasy GPS.
Got it.
Huh.
Okay.
Just kind of disappeared there, huh?
No. You guys can't see it?
No.
Oh,
You have magical eyes too?
I don't think so.
Or
Last time I
puts
checked.
cloth
checked.
back over his eyes.
She's the one who fired it, so perhaps that's what it takes. All ready to follow you then, Morgan.
Well, let's head out then. And I'll just start walking towards it.
All right then. So you begin to follow after. You all descend southward, being guided by Morgan. The blue light does kind of weave through trees and every so often cuts through terrain that otherwise you wouldn't be able to walk through or progress through. So you kind of have to like go wide of it and then come back around to it. As everyone continues to move through this woodland area, I need everyone to please make me a Constitution saving throw. Or you may choose to make a survival check. Your choice. Effectively take
Can
the
I
better
also-
bonus.
While we're doing this, kind of like keep an eye out for anybody, like just kind of stealthily keep us away from like walking straight into them or whoever this is leading us to.
Sure. What is your passive investigation or perception? Either one.
Passive perception is 18.
Okay. And your passive investigation is?
16.
Okay. Both are very, very good. I will keep it in mind for future. Celeste.
Still want to like smack into this guy with the arrow.
Walk right into their chest. Hello!
Ooh, pretty light. Donk.
Donk. Celeste, what do we get for your con or survival check? Your choice.
6.
Six.
7. 7.
7? All right. Even worse. You will gain 1 point of exhaustion. It's been a long day. Horrible humidity. Overall, it is beginning to get a bit long as you trudge through mud and muck and the boundaries of this thicket forest. JJ, what did we get?
14 survival.
14 survival. You manage to barely make the check. You manage to stave off much of the exhaustion of the given day. We have Cole Jones. What do you have?
I turn to Celeste when I see that she's starting to lag behind. I'm like, you just got to take the shoes off and get your toes right in it. I got a 24 Constitution saving throw.
24. Cobalt Jones has pulled out some of the extra plates in his dwarven armor to more aerate his areas and stay calm and cool. Celeste, in your armor, each step continues to get heavier and heavier. Sweat pools in the back of your neck from your long hair. Gnats and flies continue to assault you and you swat them in your face. Cobalt Jones seems to kind of do kick flips and jumps as he jumps over ledges and small logs.
So that's what I can do.
does a flip. Look, I'm gonna do a flip. Morgan, what are you up to? What do we have?
11.
11. Okay. You begin to feel sick.
Wait, is that your con save?
Yeah.
Did you add +3 for me?
Oh,
Oh no, I didn't.
that
So,
brings it
14.
to a 14. Is it on the nose? You feel a bit feverish at some times, and you're like, ugh, you feel the heat weigh on you, the sweat and hate of the day. But for whatever reason, the more that Celeste seems to suffer, the better you feel. And you're not sure if that's just indicative of you or your passenger or what. But as you're kind of like feeling down and out, every so often you kind of like turn back and Celeste is like trying to get past a branch, gets slapped in the face with like a couple leaves and like, fucking forest. Ugh. And it's inspiring in a very odd way as this kind of like paladin, this dark paladin continues to exude negative emotions, yet somehow it's welcoming. It's kind of like a small comedy act that keeps you all calm. And you manage to make your save. Velithil.
Vel listens to Jones's advice
Mhm.
and trudges along just as he does with a 24, thanks to Celeste.
24 thanks to Celeste. Sounds good. Celeste, you watch everyone kind of adapting to their jungle and forest-like environment. Bartholomew kind of slowly making his way through the brush and keeping on. And seems fairly accustomed to traveling. You know Bartholomew's long history with travel on the road, so this seems kind of par for the course for him. However, strangely enough, the city rat on his shoulder, Charles, is full-on laid out on his belly on Bartholomew's shoulder and groaning.
I hate this place. The air sucks. It's hot. I don't like it.
And you hear Bartholomew go, Charles, you're not even walking. You're on my shoulder.
Your shoulder's bumpy. You need to be fatter. It's very uncomfortable.
You want me to carry you, Charles? I have bigger shoulders, and I'm already suffering back here. We could suffer together.
We can suffer together.
Yeah.
Bartholomew will stop and let you catch up as you're trudging along and hand Charles to you. Charles will immediately like crawl into your hands and then scurry over onto your big armored plate and like lays down and goes,
It's sizzling
Cooler.
and warm.
Yeah. Just relax, buddy. I got you.
Charles like doubles over.
It's like, I hate this place.
The journey continues. You all travel for another pair of hours. Still at this point, Morgan continues on following this bright blue light. Eventually there's a break in the forest and you can feel this kind of like heavy, almost like watery, this humid kind of air as it kind of egresses out from the forest towards more of the river embankment that splits the forest in twine throughout the hunter's reach. Morgan, with your passive perception, you note at the forest edge, following along this unseen path visible only to you, a number of very peculiar mounds of leaves and twigs that have been left along the path as you lead forward. They set off your, again, Bailey Sarian, suspicious alert, and what you do with that information is up to you.
As a rogue with high perception, I just assume that those are like traps and
Your trap sense is doing what SpongeBob or Patrick would do, which is wee-hoo, wee-hoo, wee-hoo. I believe I've accurately done that impression.
Thank you. I needed that just to clarify.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I do speak rogue.
I will kind of just turn around and make sure everybody's looking and just point everything out
Mhm.
silently. And then just start walking like the best path through it.
Sure. Go ahead and give me an insight check to avoid, kind of find a path that's not going to cause those of you who are kind of struggling, Celeste and Charles, to kind of fall into a worse situation. Treacherous terrain, as we will.
21.
21. You look over the path. You assume one trap is probably very clearly marked, and you note that the beginnings and makings of the second trap are specifically built in a way that would be for those who are more perceptive. The first trap seems like it's very easy to spot, so that it'll lure you into another open path where the second trap will then probably hurt you. Kind of realizing the setup and the nature of these individuals, you make a long berth and then slowly make your way back to the blue light path for you and your friends. Not more than 10 minutes pass or so further down the line that you all break from the forest line. Yay! Oh, no. No, why? Why is it so big? There we go. There we go. You begin to hear the bustling break of the river up ahead. A number of trees are soaked with water, their roots cascaded across various avenues through which the precipitation kind of like fogs out and creates this kind of nice, cool, and refreshing atmosphere. From up ahead, Morgan, you can hear a number of people kind of having a casual conversation. And you look just as you are getting towards the river's edge itself in these small sparse breaks of the forest. There are a number, and I mean truly about 5 or 6 that you can see, of very thin razor wire traps that have been set up. And you can look at the ends of many of these traps are bells, as if to alert anyone who would approach across this small kind of like bubbling creek that is up ahead. What would you like to do? Don't eat your fingernails. You should paint them. And get a coffee at Wing House.
I'm not biting it, I promise.
Okay.
Is there like a way around them, or is it just like the only...
It looks like this is the
entrance?
Primary way to get to this area where you can hear talking up ahead. If you were to round this area, you likely could. But taking a look over the area, or do you have training in survival at all?
No? Like
No.
you're asking if I'm
Yeah.
proficient, right?
Yeah. You could of course relay this information to Cobalt Jones and form a mind meld to understand this solution. Unless you just want to take all the glory for yourself, which is completely fine. Up to you. It's up to you. Friends come and go, but glory is forever.
No, I will kind of point out the traps there silently, and then I'll just kind of...
To use the hand signals.
Yeah. I'm just gonna... I'm gonna whisper, can anybody see a way around?
I'll check it out.
JJ also checked as well.
Sure. Are you both trained in survival?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you both can roll, or one can roll with advantage, whatever you guys prefer to do. Probably both roll because you probably want to keep quiet as best as able. Not a lot of communication to work together, unfortunately.
Got a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. And JJ?
15 for JJ.
15, okay. With a 15, JJ, you do kind of surmise that travel around this might be possible. It looks as if the kind of the northern embankment to one option does seem rather treacherous in its makeup, but it might allow you to kind of take the high ground on many of this. Cobalt Jones, you understand that there are multiple paths around this area, but specifically if this is where it's leading, looking at the kind of landscape and overall setup of where all these traps are, as Morgan points them out to you, you realize that working around would likely take at least an hour or more of travel to kind of truly scope around. And by that point, whatever angle you come at this, if it truly is their base camp, there's going to be traps no matter what side. Many of these individuals, especially with your military knowledge, you're very aware that they are expert trappers, hunters, and many of them are marksmen from the last couple of small civil wars in the area.
Okay, so I'll kind of try to whisper, be as quiet as I can. Alright, so there's going to be traps everywhere. So what we probably need to do is we need to think like them. I'm sure that there's some way that you can either disarm the trap or do something along those lines that is maybe not obvious, but is easy enough for any of the scimitars to do every time.
What did that note say?
Miss Celeste.
What? What did the note say? Was there a note
With the arrows that you found? Was there a note?
Yeah, that it had been compromised, and that
Can I
read the note? Really? Oh yeah, sure, yeah. Here you go. Yeah.
Celeste produces the note. It is waterlogged in sweat, and much of the ink has smeared across this, as she is literally like baking in her armor. You roll through and you pick out a couple of words of like compromised, find us, but it's like, it literally is like a small piece of paper that's meant to be destroyed so other people can't get it. So now that it's been like trudged through the rest of the forest and somebody who is just not having it, covered in mud, covered in tree branches and such, it is almost illegible at this point. There are some notes and like cliff notes you can pick out, understanding that the arrows correlated to finding the base, but there doesn't seem to be anything left of the note to discern or remind proper procedure towards getting an audience or welcoming back. You assume, again, most of these scimitars, being hunter, ranger, frontiersmen, would know certain policies like this almost innately. So
I've got another question.
Mhm.
When we first encountered the cross scimitars,
Yep.
what kind of protocol or how did we just had pretty much like gotten in a scuffle with them, right?
Yeah, early on.
Was there any sort of like way that we communicated or
From what I believe the story went is that you guys drew down on them, between Colt and the rest of you with ranged capabilities, both magical or otherwise, especially at the time. Your Bucky and Morgan both had a lot of ranged superiority. It was kind of I hate to say standoff, but I will say standoff. It was a lot of like, you tell your ranger to put his bow down. No, you tell your ranger to put her fingers down. Put the firebolt down. And it's a lot of yelling at each other until you guys finally came to terms of, we don't want to kill you. Them going, we don't want to die. Until everyone kind of walked away safely and you guys were able to de-escalate and use a bit of diplomacy.
okay.
DM, just for
Answer.
future clarification, because I
Yeah.
feel like I'm exhausted right now, so I would not legitimately remember what the note actually said.
Mhm.
But would I know what the note said?
Yeah, you certainly would. I
Would
mean,
you
do you think you as Celeste or you as a person would memorize a piece of paper you read once? I asked because
I
there's
think-
specifically a feat for it.
Oh, is there? Okay, then
Yes,
no.
there is.
If there is, then no.
There's a
I was gonna say
key line
as her detective going on right now, I feel like she would have known that.
I feel
But
like
at the same time, she's exhausted right now, so I don't want to be like, what did it say?
as both your DM and friend, I can't allow you to Kobold Jones as a doctor your way out of this one.
Oh no.
I've
no.
I've
Not a
given a
doctor.
lot of leeway for both of you in my previous professions should allow me a little bit of
Look, man.
I think this is a gotcha moment in a small sense.
I got a +7 over here on medicine.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at
Doctor.
all. Yes, what is the play for the Seekers of Galanti this day? You have a number of avenues of options you can explore.
I feel like we either try to
How?
disarm this trap quietly and then proceed this way, which could also be a little bit tough because of the creek here. It's hard to walk quietly through a creek.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could try to go off the pathways and use that like hidden secret house thing and rest, since some people are pretty tired and need some
I
water.
don't think we would want to do that this close to here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, since we're trying to merely communicate, set up a, talking front, why don't we just reveal ourselves to them? Hands up. Because, we already did figure out how to get here.
Yeah, I mean, with all the traps, with the being in the middle of nowhere, I'm sure they're not super keen on visitors. And then also, just so that we were clear before anything happens, if they ask me to give up my weapons, I will not do that. And so whatever happens after that is a consequence of that.
Does the blue light head to anybody that I can see, or does it just continue on?
It seems to continue on past this small break in the major river. With insight and survival of the party, this is just a small kind of like spidered outlet of the water itself that seems to cascade across this kind of murky forested land. But you would assume, in seeing how far the distance of the blue trail goes, it's likely, probably more than likely, at least a mile or more away, thus out of your sight currently. But it seems as if the way in which this kind of the geography of the area is, it does look as if it has a path leading kind of more down towards the riverbank. You're not sure about the landscape here personally, but many folks can kind of discern, especially our newly natured Kobold Jones, could probably see through the divinity of such knowledge in knowing that a river would eventually erode low into the earth in pathways that wouldn't require like climbing down a crevasse to reach the bottom of a river, would probably be like far and few between, thus making it ideal for trained rangers, hunters, and the like to kind of defense the area ever so slightly.
I mean, it's up to everyone. I think that I could try to disarm these and try to go past these people, but I don't think it would work very well with our less sneakier friends.
So I'm not sure personally if sneaking in really sets the best tone.
Yeah, if we're just here to communicate, then I agree.
If we request to be taken to speak to their leaders, we will run into that problem, with them likely wanting to take your weapons, Jones.
Yeah, I can't do that.
How do you want to play it then, Jones?
I don't really know. I'm not really a good planner. this is the only thing, and to hold up his axe, that I can rely on to keep myself safe when shit gets real. And I can't let someone take that away from me so that I have no way to defend myself.
Well, it's a bit of our stopgap at the moment. So I think we do need some input.
We don't know that they're going to do that. And we could just say that we'd be willing to give them up, but he's our guard just in case, just to keep us safe. And have him kind of stay away from whoever's the head here.
We don't
Yeah.
know exactly.
Sorry, I was gonna say that the mutual respect thing sometimes works better with hunter types than it does with a casino.
I'm fine playing this however you all want to play this. This situation, this has a lot of variables that concern me, but I'm fine sneaking in, and I'm fine revealing ourselves now and trying to handle this more diplomatic. But we all have to be in the same mindset, whichever path we take.
Well, now that you said that, can we just kind of touch base here? Because I was under the impression that we were coming here to well, I'm not really sure anymore what I'm coming here for. Just
We
one
said we
second.
would look into the issue, and we were talking to a certain individual. I actually never said that we were going to do it, because this entire time, I know myself, I believe JJ, have had many suspicions about several of the angles going on here, and exactly what it seemed to be with the casino and its takeover. So, barring any proof definitive that the Scimitars are behind the attack on JJ, I want to hear their side of the story. I also suspect there will be some people there that we may know.
Bartholomew will speak about this and go, if they are all, as you say, if they're all militaristic individuals, perhaps we could request a parley. Typically is the go-to. I have a fresh white shirt I could fashion into a flag, and
Just
request
everyone
that.
remember, we parley with them. They will surround us. If things get dicey, we're going to be very outnumbered. But perhaps we can get some of their more important members out here to speak.
I think we play it by ear and go from there and see what they say.
Well, I'm not the most knowledgeable on the whole sneaking through the forest and then revealing yourselves to others, so how do we
Oh,
want to
here,
go
I'll
about
help
doing
you.
that?
And I'll walk up and just ring the bell.
You just walk up and ring the bell. Celeste...
Bartholomew, that flag, you might want to get it ready.
Oh, shit. Oh, darn it. Hold on. Just a moment. Celeste, you ring that bell. There's a small shift in one of the nearby trees. And then you see an arrow fired right at your feet. And you hear a voice call out, kind of muffled. You can tell they're wearing like a face mask. And you hear, "Who goes there? Identify yourself. Or be made an enemy."
Hello? No. I have a green arrow with me. I'm not an enemy. I'm a friend. So, yeah. I'm Celeste. These are my friends.
Your friends.
Yeah, we're here to talk to your leader? Yeah. Can we talk to that person? Yeah.
Who is it you think you're talking to?
Well, I mean, that's actually a difficult question because you could be the leader out here protecting whoever is in there, or you could be a guard, the best of the best, out here protecting whoever is important that's in there. I feel like this is a trick question, so I don't know. You tell me.
I'll ask it again then. With whom are you seeking counsel? You say leader, but what does that mean?
Oh, the one in charge of this, of the scimitars.
Oh. Your name is Celeste? What business do you have with the scimitars?
Well, currently none, but potentially some.
I count 8 in number of your group. Are there any others?
Nope. There's actually none. And it's actually 7.5. Are you counting the rat?
I did count the rat.
Okay, I would appreciate if you counted him as a half right now. Because I'm going to be honest, I'm pretty tired and he's pretty tired. So together we're only 7.
There's like a few like you hear a hum, like a loud enough kind of hum. You hear a laugh echo from a tree across this little like creek. She just say she only counts herself as a half? That's what I
Yeah,
heard.
I'm tired, okay? You don't have to laugh or make fun of me. You got a pillow? Maybe a blankie?
You hear another the same voice call out and go, "Do you even know who you're asking for? You say leader? What do you want, Huntsmaster or?"
No, man, I don't know what y'all call him. Head honcho. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Uh,
What do you call your king? Your head honcho? Your bad guy? Your lead guy? I don't know. What is his name? What do you call him? Or her?
You hear a few of them kind of like chuckle and like, "All right, I'm gonna go on record as saying that they're probably more a danger to themselves than they are to us. If this is their speaker, you want to speak with a person in charge? We got you. Swords stay in their scabbards. And do you have any money on you?"
Money?
Yeah, we don't talk to
No.
broke people.
What the hell?
We can pay.
Celeste, we're not broke.
All right. Well, we'll lead you in. Cost you 100 gold pieces, though. Buying a
Done.
number of rounds.
Jay will pay it.
Just go ahead, put it in a bag, set it next to the little bell right there. We'll come get it.
A number of rounds of what, though? Just so we're all clear.
They're going to buy alcohol, Celeste.
Oh.
Thank you for your donation.
What's that?
JJ is going to set the bag of gold
Mm.
down and an unmarked jar beside it, which would be
Moonshine?
a little bit of the good from inside the house.
All right. You set this down. You hear them all, the same guy kind of address you and go, "All right, back up away from it."
She back.
Everyone kind of gives it a little room. You hear this large kind of sound echo out from the bushes, and a large black bear comes walking out from like the hedges. It looks like it just got up from sleeping. It walks over, goes down, sniffs the bag, takes a big claw and kind of knocks over the moonshine and rolls it, and doesn't seem to understand why it's there, before picking up the bag in its mouth and walking back. And you see it walk all the way back to the tree where you hear the rustling and drop it down before laying down at the base of the tree. And you hear, "Oh, there you go, good guy. All right. You all come straight forward through here. Don't trigger none of those other traps. I got a lot of people looking out for the scimitars lately."
Thank you.
You are quite welcome, man. You guys following along?
JJ will pick that jar back up and follow.
All right, you pick the jar back up, tuck it away. The bear kind of raises its head as you guys start walking by, but otherwise doesn't seem to pay you much mind. Once you cross this small section of the creek, you do note that an individual comes out from behind one of the trees, dressed in bright vestments. This kind of like, almost like a bright green-looking cloak with a face covering and a tall hood. They seem to be kind of very well dressed, but you can see that the hood that they wear over their head is pointed, as they are currently concealing 2 large horns that curl on the sides, denoting their heritage as a tiefling. They look over to you, and they have this kind of like steely-eyed gaze, and they go, "Well, I understand I am escorting you to the heart of the scimitars. Please do follow me, and don't be foolish. Everyone here carries. Are we understood?"
Yo, no, totally.
Understood.
Crystal, like, I don't think you could have been any more clear.
Very
What's your
good.
name?
You like, what's your name? Is what you say?
Yeah.
They turn and look to you and go, "My name is Philippe."
Oh, I'm Celeste. I'm gonna reach out my hand to, like, shake theirs.
They move forward and actually very heavily shake your hand, and it's a grip you can feel. Specifically, you note at the tips of their index and middle fingers, there are very heavy, scratchy calluses from a hand that's like well trained as an archer. Well met.
Oh, the pleasure's mine. Truly.
I'm sure it is. Now then,
Okay.
let's not waste more time. And turns on heel and kind of starts walking you down this long kind of creek trail. They seem to weave every so often. You note various bear traps and small pits have been dug to kind of fortify the area. And it does seem as if much of this kind of impromptu base has been as trapped as they're able to make it. Eventually, you guys wander further still down towards this kind of like descending almost slope that leads to the bank of the river. You note there is a small rise of greenery that exists out, and as you look upon it, there are a number of tents that are both greens and browns and olives that have all been set up, many of them looking to be old militaristic rounded tents, like war tents, and there is quite a number of well-trained individuals, all either working to skin meat or tan various hides, creating arrows and fletching, or otherwise going about their business. It very much looks as if it is a war camp, and less as if it is a collection of like bandits or the like. It actually does seem like former military have really bonded together to make this kind of squadron. As you enter into the kind of distant lands, Philippe looks to you and to your party and goes, "I'd ask you to follow me as far as the, well, bonfire area, and then just wait there. I'll fetch our leader so you can speak to them. I assume there's a job you have in mind?"
Kind of. I want to discuss a potential previous job that was completed.
Curious, but above my pay grade. All right, just wait on here. They will walk you over to this large kind of dug out bonfired area. You look and there's like metal chicken wire that wraps around the top of the bonfire. They've clearly been here for at least a couple of days. There are like pieces of like burnt meat that is all around the chicken wire that they were hanging and using as a grill. You look around the campsite and there are well over a couple dozen people, all dressed in various ill-fitting, and many of you would remember your first visit to Grim Village that most of the Hunters Guild wore and created armor and weapons from their hunts from the various areas. And it looks as if many of them have now joined up or otherwise sworn themselves to the scimitars proper. A few minutes pass. You note a number of people do move in on you. They do form, as Vel much surmised, a large kind of circle around your area. You note people walk out of tents and kind of lean against their various poles, looking you guys over among friends and their effectively trusted allies. Before too long, let's go ahead here, and we're going to kill this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and we're going to bring this in here tight. We're going to link game. Hopefully the button works. There we go. So, you see people scattered out in various different directions, various individuals through the many tents from the center of the area. This individual begins to stride out. You see a rather tall, purple-skinned tiefling woman with curved and coiled horns. She wears a collection of various trophies and the like, and has a very heavy inlaid cloak. She looks like this. The cloak is bright red on the underside, and her hair is in various braids. White hair kind of trailing down at her sides. And she wanders forward and has an inquisitive look upon the group. You hear, "It is ever so odd to find individuals who I have knowledge of come and seek me out. Truly, I offer but the most understandable apologies and rudenesses. It has been quite some time, Gulanti dogs. I am Preeple, and you welcome yourselves among the cross scimitars. To what do I owe this extravagant pleasure?"
Well, madam, I guess we'd like to perhaps catch up and discuss some business that we are have been told that happened within your ranks, but who knows?
Who knows indeed?
Not sure if our info's right. We're trying to
Oh.
clear it up.
Information is always at the forefront of dealings these days, I find. Tell me, this information you seek, it has to do with a member of my association?
Assumedly.
Oh, very good. I will... I'm sure you understand. Keep my cards close to the chest. We are not that same group of children across the highways of this world no longer. You are, of course, not what you once were, according to the voices on the wind.
So we've heard.
Just a heads up, Vel's internet flicked, so
Oh,
yep, she's frozen in
Yeah.
time.
she's frozen in time and space. I thought she was napping. We'll see what done happened. Let me see here. Boop-a-doop-a-doop. I wonder if you can hotspot from your phone. Oh no, she popped out. No, everything's broken. What an inopportune time. We'll see how quickly it comes back. Tell you what, let's take a quick second break. We'll give it like 5 minutes to see if her internet come back, and then we'll go from there. Okay. So, welcome, folks. Stick with us as we work through a little bit of technical difficulties. It is thundering and storming in the Sunshine State because why wouldn't it be? So yeah, give us just a second here to get folks back online. We'll be right back after this. Just give us like 5 minutes. See you in a bit. Peace. Look at that. Hi, me. Welcome. It's our second break. I'm going to have to cut that out too, but we got everyone back online, so we're good to go there. So yes, right where we picked back up. Sorry for the quick delay there, but weather gonna weather, technical difficulty gonna technical difficulty. So yes, when we left off, Preeple had just introduced herself and kind of inquisitively looked over the group with a bit of a discerning eye at this point. You surely had questions, yes?
Yeah, JJ will just kind of flip open the book and kind of hold it out for her to come take on her own if she'd like it.
I'm fine where I am at.
Okay. Well, there was an incident at my family's residence about a week or time strange with an individual named, I believe it, when I answered the door, Corvus. I'm not sure if he still works for y'all or anything, but there was an incident at the house that ended with my father's death for one reason or another. And then we also got a summons to come visit y'all from someone else. So I guess I'm just trying to see if he's under y'all's employ. I'm really not sure what to believe with all the information that I've kind of gleaned in the last 3 days.
Well, now isn't that curious? Information is rather difficult to come by, and who would I be if not someone to at least open the marketplace for an old friend? I'll tell you what, I perhaps know of an individual by that name, but it is rather expensive to discuss a member of the Scimitars. I think we should start your donation to our fair faction at, your famous 500 gold pieces.
Wait 1 second. I'm sorry. Just so I get this correctly.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying it's a donation of 500 gold pieces for you to discuss a member of the Scimitars.
To start, of course.
Okay.
Information is rather expensive, ma'am.
I just wanted to confirm that you're saying that they are in fact a Scimitar.
Oh, well, perhaps they are, perhaps they aren't.
But you said they are. That's why you want a donation, is because they are. If they weren't, then you wouldn't want a $500 donation, right? Because I would only imagine you would expect a donation of that magnitude if they were a Scimitar.
Oh my, well, if you have all the answers, then why have you come here?
No. They're questions. There's a question mark at the end.
My price is 500 gold pieces to continue this conversation. You may pay it, or you may leave.
Okay.
Man, this is like a sex phone line.
Oh,
JJ
what?
will pay it.
Oh, what?
Man, sending's gotten weird since the invention of the interweb.
30 words.
Yeah, you have to make them count, otherwise there's another couple gold. So who pays it?
JJ will pay it.
JJ, you count out a few coins, kind of offer them. One of these kind of like hooded, cloaked individuals walks over, collects the gold from you, counts it in stacks real quick, turns back, nods, walks over, and seems to deposit it in this like kind of like weird looking barreled cart. Preeple looks to you and goes, "Now, this is where things do get a bit messy as far as information. I very much know of a Corvus. I very much call him my brother, in fact. My dear older brother. Now, it is curious you mention him, especially in regards to a murder, you say?
Yeah, a murder.
Well, that is unfortunate. We typically have a rule against what we refer to in the business as wet work. It is rather unbecoming of our new direction. Now, profiteering is one thing, but wholesale murder is another. Do you happen to have any proof that my brother killed this father? Was it? My condolences, by the way. I don't mean to come off as rude. It's just very accusatory.
No, it's very honest. When I opened the door, he asked for my father, and I asked for his name, and he said Corvus. I mean, if you've got someone that can pull memories from my brain, I would honestly be open to it. I think my good friend here, we were talking to we got sent up to go check out some sort of suggested job for a Mr. TT, and my friend here was, doing what she does while we're negotiating and seeing what people want us to do for them, as we also don't believe in wholesale murder quite so much. And she saw essentially what the sketch, which is a rendering of who I saw at the door, in Mr. TT's mind as well, when we mentioned him. So that's about the proof we got. There was also this dagger that had this fine kind of inlay to it. I have the hilt if you want to see it. I'm not sure if that's his.
Hmm.
You know, that's what I have. I wouldn't come to you with bullshit if I knew it was bullshit, but we came here to, see y'all's side of the story because things up there don't seem right, and
Hmm.
y'all seem to have turned around quite a bit from our last encounter, to be honest.
Well, I do thank you ever so much for your kind words towards our, shall we say, rebrand of the association. We discovered a number of things when we first encountered your seekers, as you are. Primarily that there are those even more dangerous than I. And with that, of course, there are a number of very curious individuals that would see us harmed simply for attempting to keep the peace in the wildlands. Now, your summation lends a number of rather frightening names to it, and very impactful and influential individuals here. I do think it might be a good time to increase our rate. Let's continue for, say, 1,000 gold pieces.
So 500 more?
No, darling, 1,000 more. You're asking very dangerous things. And I, of course, have men and women that rely on the profitability of our little organization to make ends meet, now that so many of us are without primary work. But you understand that, of course, Miss Lightning.
I do indeed understand it, but I am going to bring up the point that Celeste made, that asking for more of a fee is pointing towards some sort of guilt somewhere.
Oh, no, dear child. Do not take my ability to have the foresight to make any interaction profitable as a sign of my guilt. Now, if you truly believed we were guilty, why, you might do to us what you've done to the lizard folk.
Your Honor, if I might just interject here, I was not privy to that situation. I don't know about the lizard folk. I wasn't there for that, Your Honor. But what I will say is that I would just personally like to know, well, by chance, does your brother work with TT Holdings? And did your brother murder JJ's father to prevent them from getting the alcohol so that you guys couldn't make any money, so that you couldn't protect the forest anymore? I just need to know and solve the mystery. You don't understand. A lot is riding on this. Well, listen, I'll give you 1,000 gold, but I just need you to answer that.
Well, that's a rather curious statement. How about we make it more... Oh, darling, why don't we make it more favorable for you, and we'll slow things down a bit. Both you and Miss Lightning seem a bit precocious in a fun way, and interjetic in the worst way.
Should we sit down?
It might help, but...
Okay.
You might want to do that with your heat exhaustion.
Let's look at this another way.
Okay.
I will answer one question.
Ooh, one? Okay.
For every 250 gold pieces you provide to our organization. I think
hold on
that's a
1
fair
second.
price for the information you're asking. But this will hopefully cause you to consolidate your questions to what you are really after.
That's only 4 questions for 1,000 gold.
That is correct, as
Okay.
Miss Lightning asked a number of things, but chief among them seem to be 4 very important questions. I'm glad that you're very insightful, ma'am. It makes it easier to deal with you.
Me?
Yes,
thanks.
you.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you. I
welcome.
used a calculator for that math.
A what? Bartholomew has an abacus next to you, just like, carry the 2.
We call him the calculator.
It's me, the
It's our
calculator.
calculator.
Personal assistant, that's me. PA. PA buddy, that's what they say.
JJ, you go first. You go you go first.
I've asked quite a few questions, so if
Indeed you
you've
have.
got a couple that you would like to ask Miss Celeste, feel free.
Okay, I'm just gonna count out.
JJ's gonna start counting money as well and thinking of questions.
All right.
So how much money have we given them?
600.
Yeah, currently 600. You've paid 100 to effectively cover a round for all of the scouts who defend the area. And you've paid 500 to start having this conversation with Pripple.
Okay. I'm gonna pull out 1,000 gold.
You see a number of again, ranger, hunter types all kind of look over at each other and look at the gold and kind of give soft nods. And it seems as if very much
we're being watched.
Well, it's more that this conversation is a flex more than anything else. Preeple understands that she holds a lot of the cards for questions you want answered, and she's now effectively flexing in front of her group, showing that why she's the leader, effectively.
Okay.
Can we determine before a question gets asked that the answer is satisfactory before we pay for the next question?
She looks to you and goes, well, if you have someone who is able to cast a ability of
Zone
truth,
of truth?
Zone
Yeah.
of truth, I will happily submit myself to such inquisition, if that would further assist you in your investment. I
Yeah.
have plenty to hide, but nothing to lie about.
I don't think anybody has that, do they?
No.
Yeah.
I do, but not today.
I have a really strong nose.
As you guys are discussing this, you do see Charles go.
I can tell when someone's lying.
Oh, how can you do that, Charles? Do you have a specific little thing that just
My nose. I can smell bullshit.
See? Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Me too. It runs in the family, huh, Charles?
it does. Yeah, actually.
all y'all got zone of truth?
On my nose.
Okay, great.
I'm more worried about getting details than half truths, if that makes sense.
Bartholomew, do you think that if you asked your sword for a zone of truth, that would work?
Maybe, perhaps. I've not really. Yeah, I guess it's worth a shot. Bartholomew raises his hand, and goes, "Sword!" You hear, and one of the clouds up ahead cuts through in half. And you hear this and he catches it in one hand and goes, "Okay." And a bunch of people immediately raise crossbows, and people kind of takes a hand and waves off. Many of the people taking aim at Bartholomew for a moment. They all kind of slowly lower their weapons. He kind of holds the sword and looks to it. And the small kind of goose wing filigree shifts slightly. He goes, hey friend, you make someone tell the truth? And there's this you can swear you can hear this soft honking noise. He's like, no, I know, yeah, no, they're definitely evil. Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, no, I probably couldn't. No, I'm very fragile. I also don't want to get shot. Yeah, getting shot hurts. No, I know that your wings could deflect bolts. Yes, I'm aware. Could you just do the first thing I asked, pretty please? And then we'll talk about maybe eating some bread later. Okay, great. That sounds great. Okay. Yeah, no, I think I can do it. I'm pretty sure I could try.
Great.
Please.
Bartholomew will walk up and kind of take the sword and draw a circle very slowly in front of Preeple and kind of taps it and goes, please create a zone of truth. And you hear it rings out through the area, this burst of energy and flash of white almost ethereal feathers erupt out in various directions, and you hear honk, and suddenly there's a glowing white circle on the ground. Bartholomew goes, heck yeah, okay, cool, I can do that. Walks up to Orville and goes, I know magic, I'm a wizard. I am an all-powerful wizard, Orville. Don't tell Corporal Jones. There's this glowing circle. Preeple takes a step forward, looks at it, and slowly walks into the circle, and stands there and goes, "As I said, my price is 250 gold pieces." And you see the circle kind of flicker for a little bit, and a soft hue of almost like a lime green emanates through. More or less visually discerning truth.
And do you agree to tell us as much of the information as you know?
Well, now that depends completely on how much you grease the proverbial wheel, my dear.
A lot of money per question.
Oh, but it is, isn't it? And I believe these are very impactful questions that may or may not get both myself and my people in rather hot water just for knowing what I know. The circle again flickers lime green.
I'm gonna put 250 gold on the floor, like away from us so that they can come and get it.
Yep. Another member kind of walks up, picks it up, counts it out, gives a nod to Preeple, and she looks to you and she goes, "Very well then, Miss Celeste, I believe you said. You have bought yourself a question. What answer can I give you? Choose your words wisely."
Do you all work for Montserrat?
You kind of hear this. A few people in the area start snickering. She kind of looks to you and goes, "While I do rather enjoy the daily broadcasts, I can say that none of the individuals who work for me serve at the leisure of a Montserrat." And you see there's the light kind of flickers a bit. And there, for a moment, you see a slight hue of red, and then it turns to a lime green. Bartholomew looks at a sword and goes, "Okay, is this on the fritz? I feel like that's a little weird."
Oh, she's just not telling the whole truth. Come on.
As you state this, she goes, "Now I am hurt.
It's okay.
Everything
I
I've said is
totally
completely true so
understand.
far." You see it be like a lime green again.
I'll give you an extra 100 per question if you give us more truth and more information per question.
Wait a
I'll
second.
accept that as a bargain. 100
Hey-
extra gold.
Vel, if
Yes.
Your Honor doesn't know whether or not they're all working for Montserrat, let's just say, hypothetically, of course,
Hypothetically.
if
Hypothetically.
she doesn't know, if she doesn't know that all the scimitars aren't working for Montserrat and one of the scimitars is secretly working for Montserrat, would it still glow green?
Yes, it absolutely would. And also her answer didn't include herself.
Aww. Oh. Alright, well, I think we should go then.
I'm just gonna pat Celeste on the shoulder.
Why should we go?
Well, I mean,
You just have to ask the right questions.
I'll put 250 gold down.
Another person comes and picks it up.
I'll
She
throw
goes,
100 down with that.
Okay. She takes the 100. She goes, "Is this additional payment for the first question or for the next one? I don't want
No.
to
That's for the first. No.
ruin
That
the
extra
value of the
100.
investment."
That 100 extra is for the first question. I want to know.
Of course. Very well then. And someone comes, collects it, counts it, looks you over, and she goes, "As your mage has spoken of, my people do not work for Montserrat, but I have, as well as an individual who does not work for me that I am aware of, have taken jobs on occasion from the Lich Lord of the Open Airways and the current Royal Vizier of Ravon." I'm sure you understand.
But why was JJ's dad a target?
Is that your second question?
Uh-huh.
Is she
Another
as you,
100.
as you say this, she goes, I can openly and honestly speak nothing but praise for Mr. Lightning. I did not have the pleasure of ever meeting him, but I know a number in our association valued the purity and flavor of his moonshine. Hearing of his death is truly heartbreaking, and we will miss his enthusiasm in the area as a force for good to employ those who were without, well, a means to make a living. Do you feel I've accurately answered that for you?
So, if you liked him so much, would you guys bench him?
She looks to you and goes,
Miss Celeste,
I believe that's another
Yeah?
question.
I think a good deduction for your detective mind right now would be that perhaps Montserrat is not behind this situation with my father.
I'm sorry, was that a question or a statement?
A statement.
Are you sure? Because your voice just went kind of high pitched at the end.
It was a statement.
Ladies, I do not mean to intervene in your squabbling, but my time is inherently valuable. I don't want to waste yours either. I know you are heroes in many senses of the word. If you need time alone, then please take it, but I would at least like to return to a number of business dealings I was considering.
JJ's gonna put 250 gold down.
It comes, gets collected. She looks to you and goes, You may reserve to place the additional 100 until after you hear my answer, ma'am.
I think that's a good.
I think that's more than fair.
I think that's a great option. Thank
You're
you very
welcome.
much.
That was for free. Between friends.
You know,
Appreciate it.
We're friends!
We are not friends in the sense of the word, Miss Celeste. But I am friends, truthfully, with the original Seekers of Galanti. If not for their mercy, many of my brothers and sisters would be dead.
Oh.
And, of course, many of them might be dead as well. Such is the nature of our arrangement.
what we do. All right. Were you aware that your brother Corvus was taking jobs with TT Holdings?
I was aware, primarily, that my brother had found what was referred to as a foreign investor for a number of private work that he sought to do and invest himself within. I had not been made aware that it was a TT Holdings man, but I had suspicion that whoever hired him was not a resident of Grim Village. Past that, I truthfully do not know. The circle crackles with lime green energy.
I think that was a fair answer.
Very good.
Thank you.
I do accept tips, however, ma'am, if you just feel generous.
I'll throw like 20 gold.
You throw 20 gold down?
Yeah.
She kind of like smirks a little bit. She goes, I like you. You're fun. One of the
I'll wink at her.
individuals. You wink at her. As you wink at her, she kind of like thinks for a moment, and you see her like a very slight bite of her bottom lip, and she goes, "Oh, dangerous, 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 dangerous." Good to know. A member comes and picks up the 20 gold and looks at you and goes, "Hey, thanks for buying us a bunch of beer. We're looking forward to it, so tips are appreciated.
You're quite welcome.
Of course. Thank you. And like slowly
Enjoy.
backs up. You see a few people, like immediately the 20 gold gets split up among like 5 different people. They all kind of like pass coins out. Just very good then. Do you
Can I
perhaps
ask,
have...
like, looking around,
Mhm.
is there anyone that I'd maybe recognize from Dream Village before?
Many of the folks that are here are wearing hoods and masks.
Okay.
You note many of them, though there are those that don't have horns and are very clearly like of human, dwarven, and otherwise like different varieties, but they are dressed somewhat uniformly to kind of mask that a bit. Specifically, you note that there are 3 people. There is an undertusked tiefling wearing a bright purple cloak. There is another tiefling who has what looks like a shaved head and horns that are curled to the back of their head with a leatherette harness that leads down before they are cloaked over. And everyone else, for the most part, is dressed in the standard garb of the scimitars themselves, other than these 2 and Pripal.
Was there another person different there to the right?
There is one right here,
Yeah.
there is one right here, and there is Pripal herself.
Oh, so that's the Undertusk one.
Mhm. The undertusk one is right here.
I didn't realize
Yeah,
that was that
As
one.
undertusks.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Thank you. It's
Wizzy
very
wig.
small for me.
Oh, gotcha, yeah. WYSIWYG.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
DM, I have 2 questions for you,
Answer.
Dan. First one is, how much health does Prepo have?
How much health is what?
Does Prepo have, the leader person? Like, what is their HP number?
Oh, you mean for your battle master? It has been over a minute.
Yeah.
Do you get to know the full number or what?
Because if it's higher or lower than yours, right?
Yeah, I don't know if is it higher or lower, or is it you just get to know the number. I don't know how it works these days. Let me know and I will answer it as best.
Yeah, I had it up. Hang on one second.
No worries. Gotta use them abilities. It's good to ask.
Yeah, it just says current HP.
Current HP flat out. Okay, so you would know 2 things, right? If you get to just flat out know current HP. You know that Prepal has 134 hit points and currently has a false life cast upon her for additional hit points. You know it to currently be 9 additional hit points.
Okay, and then the other question that I have is not using Know Your Enemy, but just kind of taking a cursory look around.
Mhm.
When we showed up, you said that they looked like they were in, like, military tents.
Yep, as you see on the map.
Yeah, so I guess what I want to look at while this talking is going on, and I'm pretty much ignoring them,
Sure.
and I'm just kind of, like, taking in all the surroundings, is, does it look like they're actually going to war from all these tents here? Like, do they have all the signs of a warring party that's getting ready for something? And then 2, if they are, how close are they?
Go ahead and give me an insight check. Or you can roll history because of your military background. Your choice.
I'll do insight.
Okay.
That's a 21.
21. Looking it over, the camp itself is set up in a way that is most strategically advantageous to pack everything up and go at a moment's notice. Now, that's not to say that they are preparing for war or preparing for a long-form skirmish. You also know that among them, many of them do not seem like frontliners. Many seem like people who are going to run up, stab, 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 and try to just move through like a force of nature itself. Many of them are trained marksmen, not trained like warriors. You're getting the sense that, again, if you have to do like arrow for arrow against them, you'll probably lose against most of them. But sword to sword, you probably would best a fair few many of them. You don't get the sense that they are a full military unit as much as they are a true collective of mercenary work. You hearing even the few sparse answers that Prepal is giving, and with your insight, you definitely understand that money is what moves these people, and being that their primary profession of hunters, trappers, and gamesmen and women is now removed from the equation and not available in the region anymore for them, they're attempting to make a living doing any jobs that come in and effectively selling their services to the highest bidder. Now, if someone were to come through with enough money and say, hey, we need you to do something that's like effectively a war type scenario, you would assume they'd be ready to go as soon as they're called upon.
With all that,
Mhm.
that does answer most of it. Does it seem like they're getting to a point of desperation, or that am I getting any sort of vibe that they might try to like rise up against TT or have something like that? Because they're all fighters, so it would be either moving on and hunting somewhere else or trying to get back their status.
It's not something that I think you can discern on inside alone in that. That would probably be something you'd have to ask about. But from the view of it, it doesn't seem like they're hurting for anything. They're definitely like living off the land more than usual. You can see like a number of like rabbits, deer, strung game, and much to what TT had alluded to in his office, they are over hunting the area. Now, whether that's because they need it to survive or as a tactic to kind of control much of the leather goods and food in the area, who knows? Because you can't really tell their reasons for why they're doing it, but you can see confirmation that yes, they are over hunting the area. There are more than enough animals strung up, skinned, chopped into pieces, being turned into jerky to feed everyone here for months. And it seems like even as you guys are having this discussion, you're watching people coming and going from the camp, bringing in more game and more things they've hunted from the land. For whatever reason that might be, who knows at this point, but definitely from a military background, you're seeing that this is as professional as they can be while still maintaining a almost a neutral aspect in the ecosystem that's here.
Okay. I guess with that said, I will throw 250 gold down, and I will just ask, why are you over hunting the population here of animals?
Oh, now that is a rather curious consideration. We are simply controlling a vested interest in the area. Currently, the small Grim Village has a number of needs, and we want to assert ourselves in a certain manner. I will say at that point, that is all you get for the initial query. If you want me to elaborate, then feel free. Again, a lime color exudes from the zone of truth. She doesn't appear to be lying.
No, I think that answers my question. Thank you.
Very good. Never know if there are curious people who might want to know every aspect of a deal.
Hey, you got me! You got me! I'm gonna throw down 100 more gold.
You throw under her gold. She looks to you and she goes, "Oh, you are just absolutely fun." Without giving away privileged information, of course, I would never sell out one of my clients. We have been paid a reoccurring sum to ensure that the lands surrounding Grim Village and that of a certain holdings company are not as welcoming as they ought to be. That the surveys that have been made on the area are false, unfortunately. The animals and wildlife are not as plentiful and able to be established in the area as once thought. Now, for whatever reason that could be, I must say truthfully, and there's like a crackle on the zone of truth. Truthfully, I cannot speculate. However, from what we have been made aware of, and what I can confirm, is that there is a very strong investment and interest in ensuring that these people are importers for however long that might need be. Do you feel I've satisfied you, ma'am?
I mean, yes, but no. Like, I want to know who it is, obviously, but I mean,
Oh, now that's curious. I would never, in good faith, give up the name of one of my employers. But if you were to perhaps buy me out of my contract with them, I could see about giving you the details of such an arrangement.
how much is the contract?
Oh, a meager 50,000 gold pieces to be paid over the next 5 years. I will be less mean. It has already been a year, so 40,000. And my contract would of course be paid for in full. Again, between friends.
That's a long
Hey.
time. It's a good contract.
It is a rather profitable individual. Certainly sought us out for our expertise in such an arrangement. I think that's a fairly good amount of information for you.
JJ puts down 100 more gold.
Hmm.
This associate wouldn't happen to have a contact business card, black, kind of inlaid with gold.
There's immediately a wide smirk across her face, and she goes, "Oh, then why are you even offering to buy me out if you already know, you shy little minx?"
It's been a hot minute since we've interacted with them.
Yes, I truthfully was a bit skittish at our initial meeting, but if I could speak candidly, their ability speaks for itself. And she very openly gestures to one of the individuals of the scimitars, and you look, and while many of them have like militaristic weaponry, like heavy crossbows that can fire twice before needing reloading, many of them having like bolt casters that have like a loading compartment to them, some of them have these like really ornate, beautifully done black wood crossbows with gold filigree and trim, clearly magic weapons. And she kind of gestures and she goes, "Sometimes we do accept trade instead of coin." I must say I was very impressed.
Those are absolutely gorgeous, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how interesting.
And she kind of nods too, and she goes, "I do believe," and she looks to Celeste, "I believe your friend just saved you 39,900 gold by being rather inquisitive. I'm impressed."
Okay.
Hold her to it.
Okay.
JJ will put down 250 more.
Okay. Another individual comes and picks it up. "How may I answer your question?"
The best of your ability.
Of course.
How would you and yours feel if you were made aware that someone is asking for weavers or anyone to take care of y'all as a whole and remove you from either this area or by other means remove you?
Well, now that is a rather loaded question. A juicy one, in fact. One that I can't state for certain how I would react. And there's again, moments where it flickers red for a lie and then back to green. There's definitely uneasiness in her answering this, even though she's keeping her composure. And she kind of looks to the light and she goes, maybe this was a bit much. All I can say openly is that if anyone is attempting to rid themselves of our influence in the area, well, they would definitely need to send a very powerful force, a well-trained force, and one that could truly root us out. Because after all, and I'm sure as you're aware, our numbers are large but quite spread out. You could shatter us at the hilt, but the blade would still be out there looking for your throat. So I would pray to any brave individuals so willing to take on a task that they rest assured that they got every single one of us. If not, well, I perish to think of what would happen to them while they slept.
That is fair.
Your Honor? Your Honor?
My name is Preeple, but thank you.
Preeple. Preeple?
Mhm.
Okay. Preeple, I think we've asked you a lot of questions.
You have.
And I'm sure maybe somebody has some more. But I was just wondering if we could buy you a drink now.
I believe you've bought me several drinks at this point.
Let me rephrase. I was wondering if we could all drink together now.
Oh, my. Well, I will tell you this. My time is rather expensive, and if you are so interested to court me for drinks, I would, of course, consider a discount. Maybe a first date would run you in the neighborhood of 1,500.
What?
Those are friend prices, though. And I won't accept anything other than top shelf if we are to go drinking. Because I'm worth
okay.
it.
Miss
Oh, yeah.
Prequel, she's got a bit of heat exhaustion.
No,
from being in
this is
that
more
armor.
fun, though.
You're not salsa. You're guac, babe. Absolute guac.
For once, I don't understand the correlation. I've been called spicy before, but guac? Guacamole, you mean?
Oh yeah, no, I get that one.
Oh my. You have to explain that one to me later.
Okay, so you're telling me that it would cost me 1,500 gold just so we could all drink together?
Oh no, not we, darling. Just you and I. A romantic evening in a bit of company.
Oh, no, I think we have a misunderstanding here.
Oh, I think I understand well enough for what I care about.
What you care about?
It's interesting to see the budding of a new pantheon of would-be godly beings still have so much adorableness to them. You're, well, a breath of fresh air from the last batches, if history is to be believed.
Why, what were they like?
Serious. Knowing. Powerful. Unable to admit
I am
defeat.
powerful.
I'm sure you are in many aspects. But I too am powerful in this situation.
Celestia's gonna lean over to Morgan. I don't feel comfortable anymore, and I think we should go. I'm feeling a little out of place here.
Let's just let everyone ask their questions and we'll go. And I'll hand her my canteen of water.
Alright. Celestia given a cold canteen of water.
Just gonna sit down and drink it like a passy.
You sit down, it's refreshing, it's cooling, the back of your throat's burning, and you're like, thank God. You're still having a little bit of heat exhaustion seep in. Prepo looks to the group and goes, well then, might I further answer anything else of you, or are you all satisfied?
Don't have anything else, JJ?
JJ's
Deviated a bit from the original topic.
Yeah, we did.
JJ's like flipping through journals and books and notes.
Yeah, she's
She's
flipping
like,
through stuff.
there's like red string fucking everywhere at this point. But this is that, and this is that, and this and that.
Can I ask an out of game question?
You certainly may.
It's a big frog.
So, what?
Never mind. Go ahead. Ignore the peanut gallery.
If we're being scryed on, which is what the orbs that Orville saw, right? Was us
Right.
being scryed on.
Or at least
That's-
something in your group being scryed on. Specifically.
Okay. Well, wouldn't it just be one orb if it was one specific item?
Depends. Not every orb may be from the same person.
Oh. Okay. So if we're standing in their camp right now and we're being scryed on,
Mhm.
they can also be seen?
Scry specifically exudes out from each orb at a radius of 10 feet.
So, yes.
Could be, for some. I'm fairly sure. Let me look it up. 5e scrying. Bloop, bloop. Yeah, it's a sensor within 10 feet of you when it shows up. So it serves to reason that within 10 feet is its area of effect. Because you can also scry locations or other such things. Uh-oh. JJ with the hands.
I'm running out of gold. I'm running out of gold, so I'm trying to think of like the questions to ask.
Dun dun dun.
You have a bankroll in this
Yeah,
group.
I am kind of waiting for you to ask about Corvus, and then I will gladly roll those bucks for that too.
I
Morgan's
still
sitting
have
there.
7,000.
Yeah, Morgan's holding on like gold rings like she's fucking Hal Jordan.
I'm just sitting cross-legged with like gold in my lap.
Yeah. Chunkini comes out with like the fucking Yeezy glasses on and like fucking Air Jordans on each foot.
JJ is gonna put down. I think it would be 50 plat, right?
50 plat for 500 gold?
Yeah.
Okay,
Just so she can have 2 questions.
sure.
Okay. All right. So I'm putting down 50 plat here, so I can have 2 questions.
She looks to you and goes, I'd prefer you do 25 at a time, please.
Okay, that's fine. I'll do 25 at a time.
Thank you. And someone comes over, counts out the 25, takes it, nods to her, walks back. You may ask when you are ready.
How would I get in touch with your brother so that I may have a word to perhaps either see why, if he did it, because I'm honestly not sure exactly what's going on with all the things I've seen in that town. Why he might have been hired to kill my father by said group. That would be my first question. How would I contact him.
Hmm.
Aside from sending, because who knows if he'd actually, you know, answer that.
Of course. Well, it is a rather difficult question to answer, truthfully. It is rare that I can truly answer or put up for sale anything that might be a detriment to a member of my family, as I'm sure you are well aware of your own. I could make an arrangement on your behalf to have a meeting with my dear brother, but such things are rather expensive. But being that your group is very well off, I suppose we could discuss a amicable amount for my presenting of him. His business endeavors, however, are his own, and he is someone of which I do not inquire often of. Just that he treat himself under the same guidelines as I treat the remainder of the scimitars.
Certainly. And then my second question
They come collect the coin. Go ahead.
would be, as this is now some sort of matter between families,
Mm-hmm.
what would you find to be my appropriate reaction to his guilt or unguilt? And how would you feel facing your family member's murderer? Would you react towards him, or would you react towards his employer more so?
Oh, now you're getting deep into the mix and psychology of that of mercenary. I very rarely credit the knife in a kill. I don't thank my crossbow bolts when I aim them onto my prey. I don't behold all of the tools at my disposal for my skill and ability to utilize them in the field. I treat much of what we are as the cross scimitars in the same regard. No longer are we those hapless tieflings that you encountered on the road, knocking over transports and scrounging what we're able to. Under new direction, shall we say, and understanding with the current world events, we have definitely changed in the way that we think, and through consideration over the years now, have evolved far beyond those tumultuous days. Personally, I would hold a bit of a grudge, even on a servant of such thing, but I would know that at least the death, as it stands in the spirit of my family, would not be satisfied until those who sought them harm were dealt with. It is a personal matter, of course, but it is the way of things for those with means. And if you are someone with means, perhaps we can discuss such a thing. But it all comes down to you, darling. I cannot speak on your behalf. Well, unless you pay me to do so.
Good to know that you're there for that, friend.
Of course, anything you or the other seekers of Galanti might need, the Cross Scimitars happily open our menu of services to you.
Insight is appreciated.
Well, you did pay for it. Don't appreciate it too hard. Your wallet is thinning by the moment.
It is.
I have a question for you.
Only if we get a free question back.
I don't like dealing in arbitrary trade. I like fungible assets, things that I may count tit for tat. So, and she snaps her fingers. You see one of them walk over and hand you back 30 platinum pieces. He looks
Thank
to
you,
you.
ma'am.
Of course. My question, if you'd be so kind. Are you aware of the bounty on your head?
I figured one would be there.
Not just
On
you.
my head specifically,
Not just you.
I figured there would be
Mm-hmm.
some eventually.
Of course. It is a rather tantalizing amount, so I must, of course, make my intentions clear. That if we, of course, cannot continue to treat one another as friends, you are worth an amount to take in. So I'm more, well, curious, do want to address that. That if anyone was feeling a bit, well, unneighborly, shall we say, we're more than happy to address that as well. Meet it in kind, I guess you would say.
How much is the bounty? I'm just curious.
Is that a question you have?
No, it's more like a.
I'll give you a freebie. You've bought quite a lot. If you want, I'll tell you who has the highest bounty in your party.
Is it me? It's not me. Dang it, it's not me. All right, tell me.
She looks over and she points at Velithil.
It's because she's missing an arm, isn't it?
An arm and a leg.
And a leg.
The turn of phrase meaning money, darling.
Oh. Man, am I the lowest?
So,
She, like, her eyes kind of dart back and forth, and she goes, no. There is a rather foolhardy one of you. And her eyes, like, scan, and, like, you see her for just a moment, especially Morgan, you see her stare at the back of Bartholomew's head, and he's still talking to his sword, like, you're doing a really good job. No, I'm going to eat bread after this. I think bread's good. Maybe bread, oil, a little bit of pepper. You know, we do like the, it could be like the gnome thing that they do, you know, with all the breadsticks. That'd be pretty good. And she just kind of, like, looks to the back of his head and kind of gives a soft chuckle.
Surprised he has one at all.
I'm surprised that his is lower than Charles. You know?
You know,
I'm not surprised at all.
I'm not surprised either.
You also have to figure many people probably don't consider Charles a person. They consider him an animal companion. He's a dire rat. Like, he's not...
He's a hero.
Correct. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if you're looking at who they're going to put bounties on, they're not going to be like, this much gold to kill their dog. Like, on the outside, it'd be like if Chunkini had a bounty.
Oh, Chunkini's totally got a bounty.
Chunkini has
3
a bounty.
bags of catnip.
Yeah, like the fairy mafia would put a head out on Chunkini if need be. I want that fucking pussy
Those
killed.
goodies.
Isn't
The
it
tinkling
fun
of his bell shoes in the distance.
Yeah, give me his meow mix.
Isn't it fun to know that all of us are on the hunted list?
More fun to know where it's from.
Well,
And I'll offer up 250.
You offer 250 gold?
Yeah.
She kind of chuckles a bit, takes it. The person counts it, looks to you, Velithil, like dead in the eyes, and she goes, why, from a city you can no longer call home. From a rather affluent number of people who would prefer a certain nosy group no longer knew what they knew, whatever that might be. Do you know that if I were to kill you right now and bring your head that far east, I would never have to work another day in my life?
It's that high?
Oh, quite.
It's not very neighborly.
It's neighborly to let you know, but you're right, I should have baked muffins first.
What a shame.
Wow, Vel, what did you do?
Are you satisfied with my answer, Velithil?
Yes.
Good.
Wow. Well, this is kind of sad, huh, guys?
JJ's gonna put a hand on Vel's kind of
Shoulder.
shoulder blade.
Yeah, you just feel like Vel is like tense as all get out.
Yeah, it's
Well.
okay. You know, I've had bounties on me before, and I just learned how to sleep with my eyes open.
I've always done that.
You have to think that there's probably not too many people who can take a fireball to the chest.
But those of us who can do not come cheap.
Everyone's standing around us right now,
Yep.
Jones, in case you're wondering.
I'm gonna look at the guy behind me.
Mhm.
Can he take a fireball to the chest?
Which one? The guy in the brown?
Not the nondescript guy, just like a normal schmuck.
Normal schmuck?
Yeah.
Because you would be able to know his hit points, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. You know that the normal schmucks have a total hit points of 29.
I'm gonna point at one of them like that guy could definitely not take a fireball to the chest.
And she kind of like looks it over, and she kind of seems to have a bit of a discerning eye, much as you do, and goes, "Well, it all depends on how fleet of foot he would be, darling. There's a chance he survives it quite evenly. Not everyone armors their way through the fire. Some of us are much more nimble, dexterous.
Yeah, but I mean, like realistically, let's do some math here. Like, how
Mhm.
many times can you cast fireball in a day? That's a
Zero.
lot of times. What? Not you.
No, you can cast fireball 0 times of the day if I put 16 arrows in you at the start. You see, that's the issue with our equation.
I don't know.
If you
That
disable
seems like
them
a lot.
first, that's it.
Like I've seen warlords fight, and I've never seen anyone do 16 arrows as fast as I've seen Vel throw one fireball.
You want to take a count? As she says this, a few people kind of like shift uneasily, and their crossbows are all loaded.
I really don't want to. I don't like this game. I
love
don't.
hypothetical
No,
questions.
no, I do too when there's not real weapons loaded.
Oh, it's okay. Do you want to load your weapon? Would it make you feel more comfortable?
I don't use a bow and arrow. I don't load mine.
Oh, do you want one?
To hold? Why?
Sure, that way it's fair. And I can say that you are armed and dangerous.
Well, technically I am armed, but I don't want to fight you.
Oh, well,
I
that's good
like
then.
you.
Oh, I appreciate you as well. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, it is getting late into the afternoon. I desperately do not want to miss my lunch.
Okay, one last question.
I'm
gonna put down 250 gold.
She looks to you and she goes, "All right, you have bought yourself another question. Go right ahead."
Can you just tell us where each of our bounties are from? I realize that's more than one question, but
As someone goes to like pull the gold from you, she raises her hand and they put it back in your hands. And she goes, "This has already been asked and answered, darling. I will
all of
not
us are
rob
from
you."
all of us are from the same place?
Yes.
What the hell, Val?
What indeed the hell, Vel? I mean, I've been hunted before, but I would not be shocked if you all are harrowed much sooner. It might behoove you to consider investing in perhaps a group of individuals who could serve as counterintelligence for you. We do, of course, have rates available.
How much does a group like that cost, hypothetically?
Hypothetically speaking, of course. Hypothetically, of course. Well, I would say 1,000 gold a month per person. Conservatively, and those are friend prices.
Are you
I mean,
would Charles here count as a whole nother 1,000? Because technically,
no one wants to kill your pets, darling.
he's not a pet. He's a hero.
He's asleep on your arm going,
I'm a hero.
he's like, no.
Are there any whispers from around that are like, yeah, I heard that guy was a hero? Because Orville had paid off on the road.
As you point out, there's a hero. You do note there's like one guy dressed like and is like covered in like dirt and stuff. Like definitely like the runner, and like as like he's a hero. There's like one guy who kind of looks over and goes, yeah, that guy killed a werewolf, dude. Fuck, I saw it myself. Big clown motherfucker. Yeah, no, I was there. Crazy.
Oh, you watched it, huh?
Yeah. And like a few people, like it's mostly like mutters and whispers, but your big old like shifter ears can pinpoint it. And he's off to like it's like this guy back here, who's like talking about it. This guy over in the corner tent, and he's talking to it like the other two people. He's like, no, that little mouse dude, fucking psychopath. Saw myself. Maybe the most dangerous person in this whole group. Charles passed out at this point. Prepo looks to you and she goes, are we good then? I think you can understand my appreciation for what you do, and of course my professionalism and respect to who you are, to not claim what would be a very profitable venture for me.
I think I've got all my questions that I can think of at this time answered, so I do appreciate it. It was a pretty good transaction.
I am so glad to hear that you are appreciative of such things. Our mutual associate can, of course, be called upon should you need further satisfaction in the future. But if
Yes.
that is quite enough, Miss Lightning, I do, of course, offer my sincerest condolences for your father. Again, while not knowing him personally, he was an individual I held a high amount of respect for due to his rigid nature and honorable intentions in the area. He gave people hope, and I'm so very sorry to hear that someone felt that was too bright a light to shine on these hills.
I think we know who it was, so.
It is not for me to speculate. I am here to do, not to guess.
Certainly.
Very good.
Well, from one friend to another,
Yes.
take my last jar of house shine, and I hope you enjoy it.
As you offer this to her, she actually does walk closer to you all and collects the jar herself. She looks right into your eyes, JJ, and she goes, well then, from one friend to another. And she reaches at her belt and she pulls out an exact copy of this curved-looking murderous dagger. Still complete. This corkscrew blade. And she hands it to you. She goes, it's good to have a matching set.
Thank you.
And she slowly walks away from JJ. And that
JJ will tuck it away.
is where we're going to end tonight, folks. Bang, 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 finger guns. Hopefully everyone had a great night this evening. Let's see what we got here. We got Ink and Ire. Let's go for Ink and Ire. They seem like fun D&D nerds at Fate's End. We'll go ahead and give them a raid, a Rooski on that one. For everyone who stuck with us, we went way past time, but you know what? We missed last week, and it just felt right to get this done incomplete. All that fun stuff tonight. If you're still with us, you guys are truly champions of the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you. Big heart sign. Can I do a heart sign? Big heart sign to y'all with my big clawed hands. I will be back live most likely Friday, Saturday, Sunday, depending. Maybe Friday afternoon. I think there's a pre-release this weekend, so we'll play it by ear. Just keep in mind. But yeah, as always, guys, I've been Kareem Zamir. They've been the Seekers of Galanti. This has been Second Wake. We'll see you next Monday. Peace out.